Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Funbearable. This is a bonus. This is really fun. I'm excited.
Bonus.
So far, we put out one bonus that was an extra bonus, which is our like timely stuff.
Extra.
Yep. We put out one bonus that was a live panel from last year's Rhode Island Comic Con that Brad and I moderated for the cast of Clerks.
Live panel. It doesn't work.
But this is the first time we're actually taking a podcast that the three of us did together and putting it up as a bonus. This is an older episode. On last week's episode, we had Walt, Flanagan, and Gitem Steve Dave on from the Tell 'em Steve Dave podcast. Had a great time with them playing through an old Marvel board game. Check it out if you haven't. And one of the things we brought up and kind of talked about a little bit at length up front was my idea for a movie called Zombie Zoo, which, by the way, my notes on Zombie Zoo go back to 2012. I looked it up, so please stop emailing me and telling me that zombies, that I stole it.
Turns out the Mayans were right.
And there's no cameras on. You're looking at the cameras as if we're filming, but we're not. They're just
I've been so used to jimming the camera. Yeah. I've been so used to it. I looked right at it. I'm like, yeah, it turns out I am. I'm doing it to camera. I apologize.
No, it's okay. So,
so let me do it to the microphone. Turns out the Mayans were right. Oh, it's the same. It's just the same.
So we did. We talked about my idea for Zombie Zoo.
Yeah.
And in doing so, we talked about how we did an episode of the Chuck and Brad podcast, all three of us together a while ago, where we brought our own pitches for King Kong versus Godzilla, for either a new Godzilla movie, a new King Kong movie, or a new Godzilla versus King Kong movie.
Right.
And so Brad had a pitch. Ray had some ideas. I don't know. Did you have a whole pitch, or did you have mostly ideas?
I don't remember.
I think you came up with like titles.
I had titles. No, there was definitely a.
Yeah,
I think there was definitely a pitch in there.
Yeah,
because now I'm remembering one part of it. But I don't want to spoil it.
And I had a very elaborate, extended pitch for an entire movie of Godzilla versus Kong that ties into Zombie Zoo. No spoilers.
You said elaborate. When I heard the ill sound, I'm like, oh, he's going to say illogical.
No,
No.
Absurd.
He should have said illogical. He said elaborate.
So it was really, really fun. And because we brought it up so much on last week's episode, we said, let's just put it up as a bonus.
Yeah.
So what you're going to hear right now is that episode of the Chuck and Brad podcast with Ray, where we come up with all that stuff. And honestly, I'd say in the life of the Chuck and Brad podcast, this is without a doubt in the top 10 in terms of how much we laughed. You know what I mean? We laughed all throughout this episode. And the pitch is so fun and so funny, I think you guys are going to love it.
I don't know what it would have been that would have made it one of the top 10 of your podcasts that you did for like a decade or more.
Yeah. Probably Zombie Zoo.
Something in the mix there.
Yeah, whenever Zombie Zoo comes up, it really just it fills us with energy. You know what I mean?
Energy, yeah.
I will also say, because of Ray's presence on the podcast, when people said, oh, like, let me listen to an episode of the Chuck and Brad podcast, I would say one of our funniest episodes is Godzilla vs. Kong, featuring Ray Harrington.
Yeah.
Wow. And that was the title of the movie.
Yes.
Hey, guys, I'm over here.
Stop fighting.
Man, I'm used to being the tall one.
During the whole fight, every once in a while, you'll just see like a little me going, stop! You have more in common than you have differences.
What I like is they're battling through a city, and you're like... You're struggling to keep up because they're so tall.
I get on a rooftop, I'm like... You're both big freaks. You've got a lot in common. Oh, they're going to another county. Hold on.
Yeah. But this is a bonus episode. We hope you guys enjoy it. One of our favorite episodes of the Chuck and Brad podcast. It's Pitch Doctors, Godzilla versus Kong.
Oh, God, you're killing him.
You know what? Let me get a shot in. King Kong picks you up and you're like, you're punching Godzilla.
I'm going to kick him in his eyeball.
Lift me up higher.
Higher.
No, closer.
Oh, he smells so bad.
No, he's biting me.
What do you think Godzilla or King Kong smell like?
They're bad.
Oh, not good.
Not good. Who smells worse? Because I have
King Kong.
Oh, guys, it's Zilla.
No, he's in the water all the time. You don't smell in the water. It's a bath.
Have you ever been anywhere near like a wharf or a fish market?
No.
Yeah.
It's banned. That, only big. Go take a whiff of a lizard tank sometime.
You know what? I'm going to put you in an ape case, then see what you smell.
Ape case?
An ape case?
That's what they keep them at the zoo. Oh, cage.
Ape Case. And that's our new sponsor for the podcast, Ape Case. If you are a clumsy, stupid fool with your cell phone, get yourself an Ape Case because those are tested with actual live apes.
Yeah. Let's just throw it in the episode, please. Just throw it in the episode.
I just like that I stuck with it.
Yeah,
yeah. What are you guys talking about?
Just a gorilla being handed a cell phone for the ad, and it's just a dead silent ad for 30 seconds, just just smashing the shit out of the phone, and then you look at the phone, and you're like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. Ape Case. Ape Case.
All right, enjoy this episode and laugh along with us. I'm comedian, writer, and filmmaker Chuck Staten from the punk band Senior Discount.
And I'm writer and comedian Brad Rohr from the Providence Improv Guild.
And this is the Chuck and Brad Podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 514 of the Chuck and Brad Podcast.
I'm Chuck.
I'm Brad.
And today we have a very special guest. Been in the podcast many times. One of my favorite guests. Maybe my favorite guest. I think it might be tied with Lou. I don't know. Our buddy, comedian Ray Harrington is here.
Hi.
Now, I'm going to tell you this. Ray is not happy. Tell him why you're not happy.
Oh my God.
Give him an unbiased. I'm not gonna butt in. You tell him the truth.
Well,
I'm gonna give you my pendants.
We were chatting earlier, and Chuck, seemingly out of nowhere, started just a stream of consciousness, awful thread of horrible things that he was saying. A lot of racial epithets.
Yep.
Yeah.
Went deep into some stuff about Asian people, and I thought that was even more appropriate given the situation. He was talking about how it's like Trans Rights Day or Trans Recognition
Trans Day of Visibility.
Oh, I did see that.
Visibility. Chuck went in on that even harder, and it was off-putting to say the least.
You got to tell them that you're joking when you say stuff like that.
How about Invisibility Day?
Wow.
And it was
Chuck,
awful.
that's so hateful.
It was really rough.
Oh boy.
So I'm here. I stuck it out mainly just to say we need to cancel Chuck's Day.
We need to have an intervention on the podcast.
Yes.
You gotta tell people when you're kidding now. It sucks because like old jokes.
I will.
Old jokes like that. jokes like that.
As soon as I start joking, I'll make it clear.
Once I start making some chuckles, I'll let them know.
With jokes like that, like 3 years ago, I would do the yes and, but now I'm like, I never said that. This never happened. To clear my name, I gotta be careful. One time I was on the Road Show, which is like a local Rhode Island. What would you call it? It's like a morning show.
It's a morning chit chat.
Yeah. And I was on the show. They had me on to do like a talk thing. You know what I mean? Like they ask you questions. By the way, they actually reached out to me today, and I'm going to be on tomorrow morning.
Nice.
So Thursday.
Still 0 reach outs for the Brad half of the Chuck and Brad podcast.
Thursday, April 1st, I'll be on there.
Well, they're famously anti-trans, right? You know what I mean?
I was on, and they had like a lower third of me, and they had like Chuck State, and it said something like comedian or podcast personality, something like that. And Ray took it, and Ray photoshopped it, did a great job. And what did you make
really
it?
Good job.
Really good job.
Really good job.
What did you make it say?
I had it say Chuck Staten, sex criminal, right? Which is clearly a joke,
right?
And this. By the way, we're talking about Chuck Staten, the guy who's like, I love pranks. I do pranks. This is a prank I did one time. Oh boy, it's real funny. You should go on E-Bombs World and watch my prank. And I had this prank and I put it up.
I sold some pranks to Brick.com.
Oh, there you go.
That's true.
And That's a pretty good reference. I posted.
Never paid the victims.
I posted the picture.
That's true too.
I posted the picture on Facebook and I said, wow, I'm just finding out about this. I assure everyone I did not know this when I have hung out with Chuck Staten.
Yes, right.
And it says sex criminal. It's very clearly a joke.
Obviously, they would never have me on as a guest and have that. Doesn't make any sense.
Was texting me like, you got to take it down. You got to take it down.
And Gina's like, someone is going to save that and someone's going to share that later without context, and that's going to get around and they're going to think that you were arrested for something or something like that. And I was like, I don't know how to argue with her in this current time period.
Yeah, but how would it compare to like what you're actually going to get arrested for?
Yeah, right.
Sex crimes.
It's tough. It's tough. I hated that.
Beck is famously against those.
I hated that Gina said you have to have him take that down because I loved it. It
you
touched my heart.
hate that Gina. I hate to do this, but I'm gonna have to insist that you take it down multiple times in text.
In your heart, if you're a true prankster, you love being the butt of a prank here and there. If you're a real prankster,
if you're
a fake prankster, then
I'm not even a fake one.
Yeah,
I don't like anything.
What if you're being a prankster as a prank, and that makes you not a prankster?
Do you know that one of the
double level?
Brad broke my heart one time. You want to hear what it was?
It didn't happen.
I know. Oh, that's right.
It's out of our history.
Well, I'll tell Ray. I'll explain this.
What?
We had a bet one time. I think it was like Royal Rumble.
It was.
Who was the better kisser? And there was like two of you to figure it out.
Yeah, we both voted for me.
Yes.
Oh, we voted for ourselves again. All right, this time, promise you won't vote for yourself.
We watched the WWF Royal Rumble. Now WWE recently changed. And
20 years ago, Chuck.
Yeah, that's right. And Brad was the loser of betting on the Rumble. But the thing that would have to happen if you lost was that you'd have to make your Facebook profile photo anything that the other people when we watched the Rumble together.
Yeah.
And what we chose for Brad was just a sonogram with no explanation.
Ooh, I like that.
Isn't that
Yeah,
great?
that's a
Isn't
good
that
choice.
clever?
Yeah.
First of all, you are skipping some facts in the story that has been eliminated from our history.
All right, go ahead. And we'll talk about the elimination in a second too. Go ahead. Tell what happened.
Some facts include I didn't agree to have it was basically the winner gets to choose the punishment for the loser. That was what we loosely agreed to. Also, we had dumb rules about who the loser was because it was like the second place person is the loser instead of who gets whatever. And then they did a sonogram and Chuck didn't say with no explanation. The explanation was, well, this isn't the way I thought it would happen, but I guess I'm glad or something like that.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. But part of it also is that we gave Brad permission. We said, you can tell your parents and your immediate family.
Yeah.
This is a joke.
Yep.
But no one else.
And it has to stay up for 24 hours.
It has to stay up for 24 hours and you can't answer any questions about it besides that. I think that's fun, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Brad's like, not doing it. And he just refused to be part of the bet. He just reneged on the bet.
I lost sleep over the idea of doing it. I was sick to my stomach all day. And again, Chuck did a great job with the Photoshop, figured out where the date should go on the sonogram and everything.
Yeah. It's tough with you because sometimes I just feel like you could be like, yeah, I couldn't beat that boss in Donkey Kong Country. I threw up for a week. I went to the hospital. That wouldn't surprise me.
That's a hard boss.
Anyway,
I was eating raw chicken, trying to beat the game.
Yes. Anyway,
but to be fair, I didn't make you take the sex criminal picture and make it your Facebook.
No. I'm just saying.
I simply tagged you in a really great picture.
It was great. Anyway, we had some sort of bet later on for a Royal Rumble, and the winner of the bet could just remove anything from our shared history and say, this event doesn't exist. We have to pretend it never happened. Mm-hmm. And I chose to do that because Brad disappointed me so much that he didn't take part in the bet. So it's removed from our history.
Yet you just told it now.
So we were just telling the whole story.
Well, it didn't happen. It's fiction.
Boy, your rules. I don't understand the rules in this.
No,
this is I feel like I'm in some kid's pillow fort right now.
Yeah,
these are the rules.
It's Chuck's pillow fort and Chuck's rules.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
My son is 7 years old. And when he plays some made up game that he's come up with, he'll change the rules as it goes to ensure he's winning.
Yes.
I'm familiar with this.
Yes.
I despise that you said this is Chuck's pillow fort. Anyway, we're here today because we each wrote our own version of Godzilla versus King Kong, and that's why Ray's on the podcast.
I guess so, yeah.
The idea for this episode.
Oh, but the reason I am upset.
Actually,
you
Matt,
asked me about that. Yeah,
we're going to get to this.
It was a jokey upset, but it.
Yes, I understand.
We were supposed to podcast about an hour and a half ago.
So here's what happened. Ray is here because this week there's a new movie coming out called Godzilla versus King Kong. I believe this is the fourth in a series of new kaiju movies about the monsters. Comes out on HBO Max this weekend in theaters. And there's just a common, a very common, very relatable thought that with these huge monster movies, some people like the monster action, but can you make a good story? What is the human side of it? What is actually going to be good?
Well, I think that's the problem.
That's the big problem because how do you have 400-foot monsters fighting and then humans on the ground are related to that and there's an actual story that makes sense. So a lot of people,
also when the appeal is for Godzilla or King Kong smashing some shit up.
Yes.
Trying to ground it
is very tough.
Taking away from the actual thing.
Yes.
And yeah, it's a catch-22. In order to make a narrative film,
yes,
about a thing smashing some shit up,
yes,
and you know, people that would be like, but it's Godzilla, and that's what those Godzilla movies were about. And it's like, yeah, but that's like that was the 60s, you know what I mean, 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
You know, there didn't need to be a narrative beyond that. And also, if you go back and watch them, there's an awful lot of just doctors in labs, right? Talking through a lot of those movies, if I remember correctly.
I have never seen any of them.
Oh, all right. Well, I apologize.
Yeah.
And I think it's difficult because you get into this situation where in order to put in the things needed to make a feature-length story with a plot and beats, all of them by nature detract from the very thing you're trying to make. And that's hard. It's like saying, I'm a fan of explosions, and it's like a thing, right? Everybody loves the mushroom cloud, and we all want to see the mushroom cloud.
Right.
Let's all go see the movie called Mushroom Cloud.
Right.
Of course, you're going to be like, oh my God, who gives a shit about Bradley Cooper?
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Right? We came to see the mushroom cloud. But meanwhile, the people that made the movie, they're like, we can't just show you an hour and a half of a mushroom cloud.
Exactly. It's like Michael Bay is like, do we really need writers? And they're like, yes, we need to fill up the other 60% of the movie.
Excuse me. Couldn't you just have the camera spin around the mushroom cloud? But that's the hard part. Is like by nature, that's what this is.
Yes.
And you know, even if it was like, they're monsters and we want to focus on the monsters.
Right.
The other inherent problem in this is, well, it's a monster that's like 400 feet tall or some ridiculous thing.
It has no relationships.
Yeah, it's a massively tall thing. It doesn't even have other monsters.
Yeah.
It's like, it's his family. You know? Like the Matthew Broderick, Luc Besson one, they tried to give them that. Like, it's like laying eggs or some shit, right? And that's
in
when
Madison
it was just
Square Garden.
Yeah, and that's when it was just a T-Rex.
Listen, can I say one thing real quick? In that movie, the 1998 Godzilla movie, Godzilla lays eggs in Madison Square Garden, and it's got to be influenced by Jurassic Park. They basically 100%. Hatch, and they're raptors, Godzilla raptors.
In the trailer, they show the T-Rex skeleton in the Natural History Museum, and then Godzilla's foot smashes it, and it was totally a like, fuck you, Jurassic Park. We're the best, and everybody will remember us as the dinosaur movie.
So actually, this is a great example to bring up. The part in Madison Square Garden in that 1998 Godzilla movie where the Godzilla raptors like go crazy, it's so fun. It's so exciting. It's kind of a surprise because you don't really expect that from a Godzilla movie. A little bit. It's a little bit of a left turn. And the scene is so great. Like seeing it in theaters was so fun. I love that part. I'll still watch that part by itself. But that's a great example of the problem. How do you get there? And if that's the focus, how do you make the human stories correspond to that in some way?
With the
I love that fucking part.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He just grabbed his crotch. Oh no. That wasn't even part of it.
That wasn't even Chuck. That was Michael Bay.
Michael J. Bay. Oh no, that sounds more like Michael J. Fox. Yeah, it was J for Jackson. No, the way you fix that Godzilla movie,
Michael J. Bay, and it's Back to the Future's Marty, but it's Michael Bay. That's really funny.
All right, yeah.
Okay, go ahead, sorry.
All right, you telling me?
Are you telling me
we're making
a story around the mushroom cloud?
Making another Bad Boys movie? So here's the way
he wants
you
Martin
fix...
Lawrence in a DeLorean.
Oh,
let me talk to him about this.
I got to think about that. So here's how you fix that Godzilla movie. What is it? 1998.
I think.
1998. You ready? Yeah. Very simple.
Yes.
It's all you have to do is take one actor out and replace them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you change the characters to another movie. So all you have to do is make it that Godzilla movie. Okay. Everything's exactly the same.
I'm with you.
Except it's Ferris Bueller and Cameron, and they have to figure it out. So take Luc Besson out, put in Cameron, and Matthew Broderick just plays Ferris Bueller. That's a movie, and it's in Chicago instead of New York.
Yep.
There you go.
That makes
and
sense.
And it's like, oh no.
Oh, they're at Wrigley Field now.
Yeah, and as
it's
you
foul
see
ball.
a
He's on
sweeping
TV.
shot of the city, and you just hear like big city downtown, ooh, right? And then you can have a climactic moment where there's like a pseudo chase scene where they're trying to keep up with the T-Rex running down the street,
Right.
and they get in a beautiful red convertible.
Yep.
And then they just start driving. And Cameron's like, I don't know if we should do this. And then Ferris looks at him and says, you don't have anything to worry about. I'm a professional.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
See, just use all the lines. Just use all the lines.
And you know what? Just replace, was it Mia Sarah? Was that who played his girlfriend? Just replace her with someone who looks very similar to her.
Sure. Yeah. And yeah. I mean, that can be
Casting,
a lot of
a
people.
lot of problems.
Yeah. And
pay
because
scale.
Jennifer
Yes.
Grey.
Yes.
Because Jennifer Grey, all I wanted to say was Jennifer Lawrence, because Jennifer Grey got a nose job later on, you can just have a scene where one of the raptor ones bites her nose.
Yep.
And then she's like, actually, this looks pretty good.
Yeah. You know, step up.
Yeah. And you can even have the principal running around. No.
No.
Keep
him away from there.
That's a different monster.
That's a
That's
sex
a different
criminal.
monster.
Yes.
That's a sex criminal. Yeah.
Can I say, though, I will say, so Godzilla 1998 starred Matthew Broderick and
Luc Besson.
and
Matilda.
was it Harry Shearer or who is it from The Simpsons? Hank Azaria?
Was it Hank Azaria?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
Hank
Oh,
Azaria.
and you could
As a
still keep
cameraman?
Hank Azaria in, but you have to have him be the character from
Mystery
La
Men.
Cage aux Folles,
Oh,
The Birdcage.
I think he should just play a poo.
Okay.
No. This is that listener. That is part of the conversation that Chuck was having a very heated, one-sided argument about before we started recording.
No, what I was going to really say is maybe Godzilla 1998 in terms of tone is probably, if you're actually going to make one and you kind of want to make it so families can enjoy this, maybe that was a pretty good tone.
Well, here's
What
the
do you
issue:
think?
is that the current run of monster movies,
Yeah.
The Godzillas and the Kongs, the Zilla Kongs,
Yeah.
the Kongzillas. I don't know contractually which one has to come first. The issue there is like they have gone with a zero humor rule.
Yeah.
It's like the 98 version. That's like the Marvel version.
Yes, exactly.
And all of these are the Zack Snyder DC movies where it's
Yeah.
all just very serious, very dark.
I know, exactly.
Very serious.
Did you
Very serious.
did you say you didn't watch any of these?
Turned into Batman. There's a goddamn Godzilla out there.
So you didn't watch any of these recent ones?
I think I saw
King Kong?
I didn't see
That one was
the
silly.
Kong one.
The main character was John C. Reilly, and I think it might have been him from Step Brothers. I'm not sure.
Is that the one with Jack
We got to keep
Black?
this ape away from the Catalina wine mixer.
Did we just
Is that
become
the
best
one?
friend?
Is that the one with Jack Black in it?
It is not.
No, that's an older one.
It's like
See,
2000.
this is
That's
what I'm
crazy.
saying.
That's
It's like, what the
fucking
hell?
crazy.
That's another issue. Is there's
Exactly.
been so many with different stories happening. I saw a little bit of the Bryan Cranston Godzilla
Yes.
movie that had one scene that I thought was awesome, and that's the
Halo jump?
the Halo jump skydiving. That was great. The rest of the movie, like, I don't care.
I'll say this. I surprisingly enjoyed the 2014 Godzilla. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
There you go.
I only saw it once in theaters, and it was weird because that movie was really advertised with Bryan Cranston all through the trailer, and he gets killed in the beginning of the movie. He's not
Yeah,
in the movie.
yeah.
And so
But
I was
that thing, though, right? That's the thing about this. As soon as he died, I was just like, yeah, I guess it's called Godzilla. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I know.
It's not Scientist Man.
You know what movie was actually a great one that
It was a
kind of
weird
falls
name
in?
for his character, though.
It was, yeah.
It was
Sorry, it's Scientist Man.
my favorite version that's an actual movie of a big monster destruction movie might be Cloverfield. Cloverfield is pretty great.
Cloverfield was
But that's a
fun 'cause
twist.
It's a gimmick.
That's
too.
a twist
Yeah,
on it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I guess
Yeah.
that's different too.
Wasn't T.J. Miller in that?
T.J. Miller was the
Yeah,
cameraman.
yeah.
So you just hear his voice the
A
whole
lot of
time.
Another,
sex
like,
criminals. A
uh-oh.
lot of sex
Yeah.
criminals today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Imagine
But-
if he was being full on T.J. Miller during all that.
yeah.
We gotta go.
It's so funny. Don't you feel like sometimes comedians adopt like that Chicago accent a little bit more than
Oh,
they
sure,
actually? It's
yeah.
crazy.
One of my favorite ones, Adam Pally from Happy Endings. His Chicago Max.
Yeah.
That whole thing. I hurt my back.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
is really
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I don't think you
weird.
can talk about it because you haven't seen the show.
I'll see it.
You don't. No, you won't.
Yeah, I'll search it.
That's fair. Oh, you know what bothered me about all of the later Godzilla movies is I didn't hear a single "On My Own, Here We Go"
Oh man,
with the roar.
that was the best.
Oh, I will say this.
Well, let's explain that because some people are not going to get.
Well,
that.
I was going to explain it.
Good.
That movie, the '98 version.
I love that movie.
That movie famously was not received super well.
No.
Right, but
it was still a blockbuster because
after
everybody.
a monstrous marketing campaign.
Oh, it was huge.
Like,
it was
like
ridiculous.
overwhelming.
Yeah. But the soundtrack to that movie was very popular. I had it. Like a bunch of my friends had that soundtrack.
Interesting.
And that. Oh, really?
Yeah, this fell off.
Oh my god!
I like
that soundtrack was huge for me.
That's what I'm saying.
Come with me, Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
Wallflowers. We could be heroes.
Exactly.
Let me
just for
look
one
up-
day.
Yes.
You know.
And then Green Day. So what Ray was talking about was Green Day had Brain Stew, which was released on the album Insomniac, but they re-released it on the Godzilla soundtrack.
Yep. With the roars.
With the Godzilla roar as part of the music of the song.
Yeah.
So
And didn't wait. But didn't because that riff.
Yeah.
That riff is from oh my god, who did that riff originally?
Oh, it sounds kind of like Led Zeppelin, doesn't it?
Is
no,
it?
no.
No.
There's another Led Zeppelin thing. That's
Yeah.
the "Come With Me" Puff Daddy song. Sorry, because Jimmy Page is
It's
part
Jimmy
of that.
Page. Yeah, Jimmy Page like played in the on the
Puff Daddy.
soundtrack on the Puff Daddy one.
song.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, I was mixing them up.
Yes,
But
no, that song "Brain Stew" it just had previously been released on another album.
No, that soundtrack was huge.
Huge.
That was a period of time where it was like all soundtrack. I think it's an age thing. You and I were similar age.
Yeah,
right?
totally. When I go see Green Day live, I just have a little soundboard of Godzilla's roar because they don't
And then,
actually
yeah,
play
you
it,
can
and
play
I
it.
play it in between just for
Do
myself.
the roars.
You're missing the roars.
Do the roars.
also on that soundtrack.
Billy, do the roar.
Jamiroquai,
Yes.
Rage Against the Machine, Ben Folds 5, Days of the New,
Like, come on.
Yeah.
This is like a
Fuel,
who's who of
Foo
the 90s.
Fighters, Silverchair.
This is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's a who's who.
I don't know how I missed it.
There's that soundtrack during that time. The soundtracks that were like the shit for me and my friends and I. My friends and I were the Godzilla soundtrack, the Faculty soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the Faculty?
Oh yeah,
Did
Josh
that
Hartnett.
That have the Flies Got You Where I Want You?
I think so.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
That's
almost-
one of my top 10 songs.
I almost
I'm
watched-
18.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
There's like a
Of the Alice Cooper.
remake of that. Yeah.
I almost watched The Faculty recently because there's an excellent podcast called Halloweenies, and they have these extremely heady film discussions originally about all the Halloween movies. Then they moved on to Nightmare on Elm
Other
Street.
hot dog based things.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, and they're just starting the Scream series. So I just listened to their first episode, and I told Gina, I'm like, it was funny. We actually had a fight. I was like, I'm so in the mood to watch a movie like Scream right now from this podcast.
Right.
But I know Scream so well. I'd love to watch a movie that was inspired by Scream because it had a million copycats that I don't remember. Even one of the Halloween sequels was actually, it starred Josh Hartnett and was inspired by Scream. It was very much like a cool, sexy teens, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
You heard it here first, folks. Chuck Shaden thinks Josh Hartnett is cool and sexy.
Well, it
And
was
a
like,
teen for that night.
it was like, I think it was
Where
like,
is Josh Hartnett now?
Scream was huge. And then I think the first copycat was I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
But then it inspired, I believe, one of the Halloweens, Freddy versus Jason, which was also inspired by the fact that they wanted to have Jay and Silent Bob versus Freddy versus Jason. And so they have the character of Jay in the movie, basically.
Yeah, when Freddy versus Jason was in development hell for like
a decade.
Yeah.
And they did The Faculty. So I was like,
Yeah.
let's watch a movie that's kind of inspired by that. And Gina's like, how about this one? And it was a movie made like 2 years ago. It was about witches. I'm like, this isn't this. And she's like, what do you mean? It has teenagers and it's a horror movie. And I was like, what the fuck? I was so mad. And we had like a little bit of a fight, but we watched her movie again.
You just motioned like you hit her.
I was,
What is this?
no, that
What's
was
going on?
me. That was a brush off. I can't believe that,
That
you
is
think
a
that this movie
full
is like
force backhanded slap.
I can't
oh
believe-
my god! Oh god! Oh no!
Anyway,
Yeah.
Godzilla. So the whole thing, this podcast is come to the table, myself, Brad, and Ray, and come up with ideas to actually fix that Godzilla problem of how do you make a full movie when really all you want is 30% of a movie where
How do
monsters
you make
fight.
an actual movie?
Yes.
That requires plot and structure
Right.
with a thing that, by definition, has no plot or structure. right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Big monsters fighting that can't talk and have no emotions.
Yeah.
So So
I fixed 98 already.
Oh,
so point on the board,
true,
right?
Yeah. So that's the point of today. And the reason Ray's mad at me is because he was like,
the racial epithets. Really, that's what
he was
upset
like.
me the
He's
most.
like, we can either podcast tonight at 7:30 or 9 p.m. What time would you like to? I'm leaning towards 7:30, and I was like, 7:30 is fine. And I had these loose ideas, and I was like, oh,
because I have a wife and child and responsibilities,
Yeah.
and my son goes to bed at 7:15. So I was like, here's how I can do this. I can either leave the house before bedtime, well enough within. It's been a year where I haven't gone anywhere. My son is very used to me being home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. When I tell him I have a thing, he always asks now, are you doing that in your office, or do you have to go somewhere? Right, he doesn't like it. He does not like when I go out.
Right.
He's 7, you know, and I can't explain to him that Chuck Staten has his own requirements.
So I said 7:30, and I had these loose ideas, and I'm gonna be honest. I love our podcast, and I really thought I was kind of throwing a bunt up to this week, where I was like, I'm just gonna bring in these ideas. They're kind of funny to talk about. I wanted something more polished. And at 6:30, I came up with the glue of all your fucking ideas.
And then I told you I don't want to do racial stuff, and then you had to rewrite a whole thing.
All right. Yes. No, I was like, I get the glue, and I started typing, and I'm figuring it out. And so over the course of the next 2 hours, I kept inching the podcast back, and Ray was bummed because we started the podcast about an hour behind.
And this isn't a joke. This isn't a goof 'em up for the podcast. Which a lot of what I have said has been. Some of it not. The racial stuff. You sat down at the table and started typing that stuff while I'm sitting here and madly. I'm like, this is happening. All right. It's just going to be a minute. You didn't say like, hey, this will be a full hour. Right. So it was really just me sitting right here ready to record and him just. Oh, that's good. That's better than anybody else's idea.
He's like, and then he was like, I got to erase that character. He's black. And I'm like,
whoa. And then there was like 15 minutes where you stopped and you were like, would King Kong necessarily be black? Can we do something with that? Can we do something with that? And that was a whole thing.
By the way, I was on the phone talking to people.
I know. It was crazy.
Wasn't to Ray.
It was crazy.
No, but
to one of your groups, one of your Facebook groups.
So I apologize. I apologize for taking this extra time. I wish the inspiration didn't hit me at that time. I've had a really busy week, and it just happened to come at that time. And I'm gonna make. You're gonna
put the violins.
I'm gonna make it up to you.
Oh,
I'm gonna make it up to you.
I don't. You know what? That sounds worse.
Listen, Mr. Prankster is here to make your day better.
How does that make it up to me?
I think.
Surprise! I didn't even record this. I just made you talk for no reason.
I think we should build an animatronic Ray
or animatronic.
Either way, so that your son will have a Ray to tuck him in at night.
Yeah. Oh God! What a horrible Black Mirror episode.
Well,
there. Go to sleep now. I am Ray. You know what I mean?
Let me talk like Gizmo. It is our thing.
It is time to talk like Gizmo, and then you just hear a tape start playing, and it's just sound bites from the movies.
But we messed up. We forgot which one was Gizmo.
Yeah.
So it's Stripe.
Oh my God!
Threatening Finn.
It's just the lady at the bank at the beginning who hates the dog.
But anyway, yes, I am going to make it up to you. I'm sorry that I took an extra hour to do this, but I also think it's going to be really fun. I think it's going to be fun. I think you're going to like this.
Okay. That's your. Making a bold statement right up front.
Hey, Ray, I think you're going to enjoy our time together.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Wow.
First time for everything.
All right. This guy's a salesman. All right. Watch your wallet around this one.
So we're going to do a couple of our normal topics. Then we're going to get into how do we fix the Godzilla problem. Right?
Sure.
I have
the headline of all of my think pieces that I write.
I have a fun start for us. I want to talk about this.
How do you solve a problem like Godzilla?
I just found out.
Are you there? Godzilla? It's me, Margaret.
And I'm pretty sure this is. That's really funny. I
got my period. No, she didn't do. She's not doing the roar. By the way, I'm telling. That's okay.
that was just.
Did it get hot in here?
So. I found this out. I think this is true. If you go for an operation, sometimes, in some cases, if you have an operation,
this took a hard left turn.
This is an opening topic. They might give you a catheter depending on how long the operation is.
Where is this coming from?
This is our opening topic, right?
Okay, you know what? Let's pull back the curtain.
Okay.
Every week,
sometimes catheter. How do we feel about
podcast?
Well, you're on the
I wish
catheter.
Every week in the podcast.
Hi, my name's catheter.
All right, this is gonna be really confusing. Everybody,
I'm already overtired. You guys are doomed.
So
usually I tip right around 3/4 of the way in, and I told you before we started I'm gonna go off the rails.
Listen, so we usually start now with an explosive moment. That's what we refer to it as. And so the podcast starts.
I've had to leave a store because of that.
And we go this.
I've had an explosive.
Like Brad will
moment.
be like, welcome to the Chuck and Brad podcast. I'm Chuck. I'm Brad. And then I'll go like, hey Brad, and I'll ask a question. We'll have a talking.
You ever get
point.
an enema?
So here's the
They are
talking
mostly
point.
like bathroom.
Yeah. No. So you guys understand? If you have an operation, you might be required to get a catheter.
Be required to
have you
get
ever had a catheter?
I don't think so.
Ooh, what does that mean?
That just means I've had a surgery where I was put under.
Yes,
but I don't. I
think you would know.
Nobody said we're gonna do catheters on you.
Are you nervous about a catheter? I'm extremely nervous.
Oh, you know what? One time, so I had gallstones when I was in college. It's terrible, and I had to have my gallbladder taken out. But it took forever for them to figure out that was the problem. So many times, and so I ended up going to the emergency room like a dozen times. It was awful.
My God, yeah.
Awful. And it just every time it was like a different thing.
Yes,
and one of the times I went to this hospital, it was a terrible hospital. I never went back. That was the one time I passed out. From the pain, which was wonderful.
Yeah, it's a great
So
feeling.
I was there. They were like, we're gonna check you out. We can't do anything with you yet. And I was like, just please give me something for this pain. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then they treated me like a drug seeker immediately.
I know.
So they wanted to take blood. So they took blood. And then I'm sitting there and I'm just waiting. And I'm in this like dark, sad little room with the little curtain. And I started to feel myself dip, right? Like I was like, uh-oh. And I just like half conscious, I just started going, help me. And then a nurse came in and I passed out for like maybe a minute.
Wow.
Yeah. And the doctor came in. He's like, so sometimes your body experiences so much pain that it shuts your brain down. Yep. And so that happened. But when I was there, they were like, so we're going to, we want to do some tests. We're going to do x-rays. We're going to do this and that. But we need to put a catheter in. And I was like, pardon me, you need to put a catheter in? And she's like,
what?
Yeah. And I was like, why? Why do you need to? By the way, this was like the 10th emergency room trip, right? I was like, why do you need to do that? Oh, dude. And she was like, well, we need to get a urine sample and then we need to do this and that. And I was like, I'll give you a urine sample. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And I think, again, because it was just like, oh, this guy is looking for pain medicine.
Oh, my God.
And she was like, if you don't
let's
do a
make
catheter,
him need pain medicine.
Yeah. And she said, if you don't do a catheter, like we can't give you anything. I'm like, then I'll give you pee.
Yeah.
But that's it. You know, and if you're not going to give me anything, fine, but I'm not getting a catheter. I'm in pain right now.
Yeah.
I don't need you to do that process to me.
Yeah.
So no, I've never gotten a catheter.
Okay. So
I'm close. Could have had the option. Said no thanks.
I'm scared of it. You've never had one, Brad?
I've never had one. No.
Are you scared of it?
Seems like an awful idea.
I mean, I think that
Brad is like bizarrely okay with whatever they tell me I has to do.
Typically,
they're like, we're gonna shove something up your dick, and you're like, hey, it's Tuesday.
Typically you're unconscious when.
No, not with
a catheter.
I guess you know what? I'll say this.
Maybe they are. I don't know.
The people I know who have had catheters have had them applied while they were unconscious
and taken out too.
Taken out, they're awake.
Yeah. And here to take out your catheter is Dr. Staten. And I'm pulling out the like all the different like bandanas that are tied together.
Like a magician clown. Right? Yeah.
Here's my question. Right. I think if people are terrified of catheters, this is just a thought. I think it might be true. You might have the option to wear a diaper during your operation. Because because the reason they put a catheter in most of the time is either they can't ensure that you have no liquid in your body. Like let's say they do emergency surgery and you might have drank in something recently, or the surgery is going to take so long that they think you might actually piss yourself during the thing. Right. So would you do diaper or catheter? I'd go diaper all the way.
I think if I'm unconscious, I don't care.
You're crazy.
Given the choice, were someone to present me with this menu, with these menu options,
You don't want to see the appetizers,
right? Hopefully, it's please feast. You know what I'm saying? Oh, a slow clap. So, I would say, give me the one that's non-invasive, right?
Yeah.
And then the doctor goes, all right, fine. And then he opens the curtain and he goes, we're going to stick a diaper up his dick. And he walks away. You're like, wait a minute. wait, no.
How was that one?
I'm in a Twilight Zone episode. I would wear a diaper before someone put a thing in me.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, yeah. That's...
Yeah.
Why? This is the opening thing.
I was just wondering. I'd rather do diaper.
Yeah.
And Brad says catheter. He doesn't care.
I don't.
Don't you find that to be crazy? Is that crazy?
At some point, you have to trust the medical professional.
No, you don't. First of all, it's not like saying like they're going to do something wrong.
Why? I mean, given the choice, I just don't think, I don't know how often they give you the choice.
Right. It's a common choice.
Would sir prefer?
It's funny because you ever have a thing where you're like, I think this is real. And you're like, did this come from a dream? Did it come from a TV show that's fake? Did it come from a medical journal?
Well, what
you don't know?
Yeah.
Sure. But what you do is like you maybe Google it or something like that, or ask someone you trust.
This is my Google.
But instead, you just come to a podcast.
I'd rather ask you.
And you're like, I got to write something for an hour in front of the guest. And now that's done. Here's another question.
I go diaper. I'm team
small tube up your wiener, or would you rather pee in a diaper? What a weird podcast, right?
Me and Ray are team diaper. That's all I got to say.
I'm not going to be on your team.
I'll get you guys T-shirts that read Team Diaper.
Yeah,
you can wear them.
I'm team thanks, but no thanks. How's that?
Here's the only problem with the diaper. They make you wear a bonnet, too.
Oh, no.
That's not a problem. Look adorable.
What if the person doing the catheter walked up to you, Brad, and it was like a bad, like Farrelly Brothers comedy moment, and the guy was completely cockeyed and went, "It's my first day." Then what do you do?
Then I think
and his hand was shaking.
Yeah, you request someone else, right?
Yeah.
Or you request anesthesia first, and like when you're unconscious, whatever.
Okay, so then Anna walks in.
Yep.
And she introduced, "Hi, I'm anesthesia." And and her hands are shaking even more. She's like, "Sorry, I just got a case of the DTs."
Okay, it was either that or she was a cannibal.
No, she's an alcoholic.
Just like the Book of Eli. They were shaking because they had too much human flesh. They'd eaten too much human flesh. That's the thing.
That's the one where it turns out he was blind the whole time?
Yeah.
I saw that movie in the theater.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, when that reveal happened, I don't think I've been madder.
Oh.
I was like, are you fucking kidding me? That is, I don't know if in the book it's different.
I have not read the book.
Oh, I don't know if there is. You said Book of Eli, and I immediately thought it was the Book of Eli. But there were no little.
I hope that's what it would be titled.
There were no little drip drops of clues.
Right.
So, when a movie has a reveal, when it's done the right way, when it's baked in, the audience is surprised by the reveal, but immediately is like, oh, but that makes sense.
Right.
And now I get it. And then sometimes they'll do flashbacks to show you the case.
Yeah.
This movie, it was just like, and also this. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
It's like now you see me levels of like, where are we going with this? Ironic, though, because it's now you don't see me.
No.
Sorry. We're all over it. I like how this started with an introduction of like Godzilla. We're gonna get into it. By the way, catheters, diapers, Book of Eli.
I was going to say, we are 38 minutes in.
Oh my God.
So maybe we just skip the normal topics and go to Godzilla's.
But before we go to Godzilla's,
we need to do our ad.
We need to thank our sponsor.
Our catheters.
On sponsor.
Slick Inserts catheters.
We have one sponsor who reached out to us, and we haven't quite figured it out yet, but they're coming along.
Okay.
But a sponsor we do have is Staines Landscaping, my family's company. How do you like that, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I hear they do great work.
Actually, I'll tell you this. We've done sponsorship with Staines Landscaping here and there over the couple of years, and I've been there answering the phone, and someone has called and been like, "Is this Chuck from Chuck and Brad Pies?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I heard the ad on the podcast. That's why I'm calling."
Oh, that's
which
crazy.
is pretty cool.
That is crazy. I won't co-sign on this ad, by the way, unless someone comes to my house and does some work.
Okay, that's fair. Just make a list.
It can be you.
Yeah.
It should be you. I need it to be you. I need it to be you dressed in a Godzilla costume.
Stan's Landscaping.
We're going to program the animatronic Ray to do some yard work.
I need you in a Godzilla costume wearing a diaper on the inside.
Spring is here.
Spring has sprung.
Stan's Landscaping. If you're in Rhode Island and you need landscaping work, call Stan's Landscaping, 401-247-2227, or go to stantonslandscaping.com.
Or call them and leave a prank. They love it.
Our company has been around for 40 plus years. Our reviews speak for themselves. Feel free to give us a Google. And we do all types of lawn care and different things. Let's see. Let's pull up this. Oh, man, I always... here we go. Stanton's Landscaping specializes in masonry, planting design, stormwater management, grading, lawn maintenance, site work, tree pruning, irrigation, and lawn fertilization. If you have anything that needs to be done with your lawn, with your property, talk to Stanton's Landscaping. Again, that phone number is 401-247-2227, or go to stantonslandscaping.com and contact us right now. I work there 1 day a week. That's my day job, is I work every Tuesday. So if you call during that time, you're going to talk to me, and I'm going to help you out. I'm going to set you right up. My dad started the company, like I said, over 40 years ago, with a lawnmower and a hope and a dream. And now, look where we are. Can you believe it, Ray?
I can, yeah.
Wow. That's a lot of faith in my dad. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. Fucked up kids, but good guy.
But if you're in Rhode Island and you need some lawn work, call Stanton's Landscaping.
I have a question.
Yes.
A landscaping-based question.
Yes, please
that kind
do.
of ties into our previous conversation.
Yes.
Where does a landscaper go to the bathroom when they're working?
I think that...
Is it a knock knock? Can I use your bathroom?
Well, I'll say this. For us, we have basically let's call it 5 crews.
Yeah.
Of 3 to 4 guys. So when we go to places, we don't really spend that much time. So let's say your house requires 4 man hours.
Mm-hmm.
It might be 4 guys going there for 1 hour. So we go from
But
place
what
to...
about in that hour if someone needs to
I think
go to the
I think they
bathroom?
try to do it in between all the hours because I don't think they do that.
You're telling me in the history of Stanton's Landscaping, 40 years,
Yeah.
there's never been a single crew member that has had to go to the bathroom while at a
You know what? That's a Stanton's Landscaping guarantee.
They all wear diapers.
Or catheters.
We give them the option.
Yeah. But the raking fucks with the tubes. You know?
You see me? I'm all tangled up.
We told you. No.
Why is it
I was
going
just about
to an
do a thing
IV?
and I'm not going to do it. I was so close. Ooh.
Thank you. Good choice. You made the right choice.
Did you hear me go into a
Yeah,
voice?
a little bit.
Oh, boy.
no.
Yeah.
No, not that. What are you talking about?
Wow, the whole deaf thing?
Deaf? Who's deaf?
Just kidding.
Is your dad deaf?
I don't know. Sometimes
All the
I
mowing.
think,
All the mowing,
yeah,
yeah.
all the mowing. Yeah. Anyway, that's our sponsor, Stanton's Landscaping. Big,
So
big
send them by
appreciation.
to my place, and then I will absolutely give a glowing review on the next episode I'm on,
Yeah.
if it's warranted.
Yeah, we want you to be honest.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Right. So do you want to get right into the Godzilla stuff? You think
Yeah.
that's what we should do?
Let's 40 minutes in, get right into it.
Right into it. Snippity snap and we're in.
By the way, I feel like sometimes you guys put the blame on me for episodes that I'm on going long.
Yeah.
That is not the case. That is not the case.
I don't know. Brad, I think you should start with your idea.
I'm ready. As soon as I pull it up here.
Yeah.
Godzilla pitch.
Yes. All right. So, like I said, our task is to fix the Godzilla movies. And by the way,
The studios have called upon us.
yes, exactly. Is it Universal? Who owns it? Universal.
Is it Universal?
I don't think
no,
it is.
I don't like
I don't
that
think it
idea
is.
because then they're going to pull it in. You know how Universal was trying to do the new
Monsterverse?
Yeah, that means they're going to pull them in.
Invisible Man wasn't bad. But that
Yeah,
was
but
a-
that's different. That's not
it
even
is.
part of the.
I know it's not.
That's not part
I know.
of the
I know it's not.
verse that they're trying to make.
No, they canceled the verse for now.
Why? What did it say?
It was the third verse of "Come with Me" by Puff Daddy. So there's no rules here. So if Brad's like, mine's a King Kong movie,
No rules.
or Ray's like, my ideas are for King Kong versus Godzilla.
My Godzilla skateboards. No rules.
No rules.
My
Too
Godzilla stays
extreme.
up late. And
My
eats
Godzilla
pizza
goes
rolls.
to Taco Bell and Mountain Dew. No,
No rules.
So no rules. We're just making a big monster movie, but
No
we're making
mas.
it good.
Yep.
All right, so Brad's going to go first. What is your pitch to fix these kaiju movies?
It could live in the established Godzilla Kong verse.
Okay.
It could be its own thing.
Yes.
We open flipping between TV stations. We have right-wing media calling for Japan to take ownership of Godzilla and the destruction Godzilla has caused. We have left-wing media pointing out how much lower nuclear emissions are when Godzilla is around.
Wow.
Maybe there's a music video praising Godzilla or a preacher railing
So
against him.
people love Godzilla?
Maybe they're divided.
It's all over. Yeah.
They're divided. Maybe a cartoon.
These people love Godzilla. So what I meant to say is some people love Godzilla.
Yes.
Okay.
Just little snippets that give us kind of the background of Godzilla. He feeds on atomic energy. He wrecked an American city. People be tripping.
Yeah.
Our protagonist, let's call him Brad, is in the U.S. Navy. He has a wife, June Lee, who happens to be Asian. She's a nuclear physicist.
Happens
we'll say.
to be.
Yeah, it's not her identity. Meanwhile, in North Korea, the insane leadership there is in the final stages of testing a new kind of nuclear bomb. I don't know, some MacGuffin science about a different isotope of uranium or something. Doesn't matter. The point is, if this works, it's going to be much more radioactive than previous atomic bombs. Uh-oh. We are introduced to North Korean hotshot pilot Dae-shim, originally named Chuck. Stupid haircut, laughs like a hyena, thinks he's so cool.
Oh, I can. You're painting a picture. I can see it.
He's also, Dae-shim is sexist to the women in the room.
Now I can absolutely see.
That's part of his
100%. Always going on about his dad's business.
Yes.
Do you know who my dad is?
It's. I'll say this. I'm not throwing out the idea that his dad is like the insane like general or supreme leader or whatever of North Korea. Meanwhile, Jun Lee is on a panel talking about atomic energy. A university panel, big crowd. They're taking questions from the audience, and a crazy person brings up the idea of Godzilla, and they're like a fanatic, like they're weirdly.
Hold on. They're talking about nuclear energy, right?
Well, Godzilla feeds on atomic energy.
Godzilla feeds on it, and Godzilla is a known entity that the world is talking about. And a crazy person. Well, this person's crazy for bringing up the thing
no. They're
he's crazy. He's crazy before he brings it up.
Right. Yeah.
He's like a crazy person.
He's like shitting on himself.
He's a harbinger.
He's got a catheter in. When it makes way more sense to wear a diaper in this instance. So Jun Lee wisely talks about how people are drawn to power, this powerful figure of Godzilla. She cites Ra or Zeus or, the Judeo-Christian god. If it's powerful, people are going to make it a god. She talks about the Egyptians worshiping Ra, the sun god, because of how important the sun was in their culture. Right. But there were also people who worshipped Apophis, a serpent representing chaos and disorder, defeated every morning by Ra. And then a very white man on the panel says, "I'll tell you this, there's only one God and his name ain't Zilla," to raucous applause. Just because I think that line is so dumb.
That's a great line.
I can picture current politicians saying something like that.
I like this already.
And then the crazy guy's like, but God is in his name. So
it's
weird. Like even you just couldn't say Godzilla. You had to say Zilla, leaving out God.
Yes.
So so I shit myself again. Oh, Your Honor.
We cut back to the North Korean test site. Our hotshot pilot drops the bomb, flies away. It explodes, contaminating a large swath of ocean with what we'll call dirty radiation.
Yeah,
dirty.
UN inspectors are stationed in Seoul, South Korea. They are not happy with this turn of events, as you can expect. You know who else isn't happy? Godzilla. He shows up ostensibly to, feed on and maybe feed on the radiation and cleanse the water.
Wag his finger at them.
Yeah. But this new dirty radiation makes Godzilla lose control. He goes crazy.
Ooh.
Dicks. He rampages through Seoul. Again, the good part of Korea.
It's like he's on meth.
It's a big action sequence. This is where you get your buildings knocked down.
Yeah. Yes.
Your people running in terror. The previous methods of control, sonic cannons, whatever they've tried to use to affect Godzilla in the past, they do nothing. We know what this scene is. Godzilla eventually retreats to the sea, still crazy, and perhaps he's glowing a different color than he has been in previous. The atomic breath isn't bright blue; it's red or something. So you can tell he's evil.
Yeah.
Brad, our U.S. Navy guy, is shipped out to assist with a multinational peacekeeping operation. American news reports on the attack in South Korea. Jun Lee is walking home, and white racist jerks attack her. It's brutal. She, despite not being Korean, is blamed for the North Korean testing. It's despicable.
Oh, wow.
Hate crimes.
Yeah.
Brad lands and his CO, Ray, tells him about the attack.
Wait, what?
Oh, boy.
I have to break the news?
Yep.
Brad
Tells him about the attack on Jun Lee. He
didn't
assures
wanna tell
Brad
you.
they're doing all they can for her. Brad is distressed, but he's a soldier with a mission. Stop Godzilla.
Brad, for
The
God's
sci-
sake, stop crying. We have a job to do.
The scientists are stumped. They want to try non-lethal methods because Godzilla is so helpful with radiation at different sites. But the Warhawks win out. It's a death sentence for our favorite giant monster.
Wow.
The plan is this: fly up to the edge of space and drop a giant bar of tungsten on Godzilla. There's no electricity.
What's tungsten?
It's just a
Metal.
heavy metal.
Okay.
And so it's going to fall. So it's not powered by anything.
Right.
So there's no electricity. So Godzilla's like weird EMP powers can't affect it. There's no radiation in it, so it's not going to make Godzilla stronger or crazy. It's just going to like strike with a lot of force and explode with the power of an atomic bomb, but not necessarily with any of the radiation.
Because they're dropping it, is like just the speed of it falling.
That's correct. Yes.
It's actually going to kill him. Right.
That's the plan.
Do you have a physics explanation as to how they get it up?
Well, that's it's a big plane. So basically,
A plane is going to be able to fly a beam of tungsten
it's a big plane.
big enough to kill Godzilla?
Well, the speed that
The sheer weight of it, though.
I think we we've already got dirty radiation in this. We're playing fast and loose with the rules of science.
Yeah,
Right.
sure. I mean,
Sure.
you have to.
Yeah. What if it's like a tungsten missile spear?
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
Or
spitballing.
or they have tungsten like
Already in orbit.
space.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's preventative and it was top secret and this is what it's for.
Yeah, if we change the trajectory of the satellite for
Yeah.
just 30 degrees, it'll land on Godzilla.
But it has to be dropped manually. It can't be automated for some reason.
For plot reasons.
For plot reasons, yes.
right.
Dae Shim, our hotshot North Korean pilot, is upset that he's left off the mission, but he's told, you're leading the ground assault. We have to get Godzilla into the DMZ, the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea, to minimize casualties. And then Dae Shim is a jerk to a South Korean pilot who happens to be female. As the meeting breaks up, Brad finally gets to video chat with Jun Lee. He's worried for her. At one point, an alarm in her hospital room goes off, and Brad panics. Jun Lee reassures him and says it makes more sense. She controls her own oxygen. Maybe she plugs her cannula. I don't know how to pronounce that. Cannula or cannula. Plugs her oxygen thing back in. Cannoli plugs her cannoli back in.
Canola oblongata.
Yes. The plane is loaded up and ready to go. Our tungsten-bearing plane. It has to go very high, so all the soldiers on board have to wear oxygen masks, and they're all plugging into like a main oxygen line on the plane.
21 Pilots is playing.
Yeah.
Radioactive! Radioactive! I don't know, whatever shit band that is.
I love 21
Who does-
Pilots.
Okay, but who does
It's
Radioactive?
Imagine Dragons. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Imagine 21 Pilots with dragons. You know what I mean? One of those songs is going to be on
Hey,
this
21 Pilots and Dragons sounds like Brad's script so far.
Hey!
So Brad,
You hated that.
I loved it.
it's a
loved it.
multinational group. You know,
Yes.
maybe two soldiers of Asian descent, two soldiers.
Yeah.
It's like the idea that the world is coming
I've seen
together.
Predator, I get it.
Right. The world is coming together to defeat this threat to the world. And Brad and Ray are the last two soldiers to get down there. And as Brad gets on board, he's going to hook up his oxygen and he just thinks about his wife. And he's like, plugs the oxygen into his emergency oxygen instead of into the plane's oxygen.
Wait, what did Ray do? I like this Ray guy you keep bringing about. He seems like he's in charge. He gets it.
Oh,
he
yeah.
knows what he's doing.
He gets it.
Trusts this Brad guy.
Yep.
You know?
The ground forces, under the leadership of Dae Shim, have engaged Godzilla. Action sequence. The plane with the tungsten keeps flying. The ground forces have driven Godzilla to the Korean DMZ. Godzilla's still going crazy, still breathing red instead of blue or whatever, but the combined air forces are keeping Godzilla pinned there relatively well. He's still smacking planes around, but he's not on the move.
Right.
We go back to the plane. Everyone seems curiously subdued. Brad's eyes are closed, and we get flashes of his family, all these important things, his past, America, whatever. Suddenly, we flash back to the plane. Oh, shit. Ray is up and stabbing the other soldiers who are not responding.
Whoa.
Brad is next. He fights off Ray, and we learn that Ray worships Apophis, the Egyptian chaos god.
Oh, no. Ray was
represented-
with Hydra?
Yes, by a serpent.
Oh.
Ray believes that Godzilla is the second coming of the chaos god and represents the wildness of nature. Ray is against the order that man has placed on Earth.
Shit.
The time of man has passed. Our rules have made the world worse.
Whoa.
We need to go back to something more primal.
Wow.
Etc.
He's like a Werner Herzog up in here.
Yeah, Brad and Ray begin fighting. Oh shit, Daeshim had to eject. His plane got smacked. He's on the ground in the DMZ. We get some shots of Godzilla being menacing, a giant foot,
Right.
etc., destroying stuff. People are radioing. He's radioing for help, but they're like, it's too hot. We can't land there. It's we're really sorry. So Daeshim is about to embrace his death. A helicopter lands nearby. It's the South Korean female pilot.
Wow.
The one Daeshim was a jerk to. The world can work together. Daeshim is saved.
Wow, this is such a progressive script. You don't even have a name for her.
I used my one female Asian name on June Lee.
Oh no! That didn't sound good.
Back on the plane, Ray is getting the better of Brad. The cargo bay door is opened as they approach the drop site. There's a countdown and everything. Of like we have to.
Ray begins to remove his diaper.
It's what we do in the Cthulhu cult that I'm in. We rub shit all over ourselves before we go into battle.
Apophis. Basically,
Suppothis Cthulhu. Let's call the whole thing
Ray.
tomato.
Ray is still railing against rules, and Brad says something like, "You know what else has rules? Gravity." And kicks Ray out of the plane.
Get off my plane.
Basically, yes.
Perfect.
Please say you can say that.
He does it.
Like Harrison Ford. He's yelling it as he's
Remember
plummeting.
Air Force? Well, we watched it together.
In the barracks.
Remember?
You said it was your third favorite Harrison Ford movie?
The last thing he says, come on, it was my birthday.
I wanted to watch Executive Decision.
He gets over. He pulls the lever to drop the tungsten, and he passes out because Ray has beat him so badly.
Wow.
Anyway,
About the face, chest, neck, and head.
yes,
You went in such a different direction than the direction I went in. It's like so wildly different. Because yours is like a real story.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no. Oh God, and you were typing for a goddamn hour.
Mine's a 30-page, I don't know what.
Anyway, Godzilla, right? He looks like me, and he's got a huge
He's got an
dick.
he's got an
Godzilla
awesome
have it?
haircut and a laugh like a hyena, and everybody likes him.
And King Kong, he's just like this little bitch. He's just like this little bitchy guy, you know?
I think Kong is trans, so
Get out of here.
I'm almost done.
I like this.
No.
Godzilla has
don't
moved
rush.
far enough away that the tungsten, while destroying the DMZ, symbolism, hurts him. It doesn't kill him, but he's wounded enough. He slinks away into the water to heal. You see his breath or his scales or whatever start to go from red to blue. So the healing is coming.
Yeah. And then the Chuck guy down there, he sees that nothing much has happened, but he's like slinked away. And then he just looks at like everybody, most of whom are dead, and he goes, "We did it."
Yeah, he's got one little popper, one little firework. Brad survives, unsurprisingly. He reunites with his wife. She's recovering. She's much smarter than him.
She hugs him and then whispers,
and-
"Hail Hydra."
Yes. We close with a montage, different TV shows showing. It starts with like celebrations. We've done it. We've come together, whatever. And then we get like they get progressively darker, where it's like, oh, they're putting the barriers back up on the DMZ. Your white right wing is attacking now Koreans or whatever. The next problem of the week, everyone's blaming each other. The world has learned nothing.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a sad ending.
Yes, it sure is.
Yeah, accurate.
Yes, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's great though. I really liked that.
Yeah, me
Thank
too.
you.
I
I
liked
would
it
watch
too.
that movie.
Yeah, I would like that one too.
There's a lot of work to do in the middle, and maybe naming our female pilot.
I do like the take though. I like the take of like having a large group of people embrace Godzilla and what he
Yes.
is. I think that's great.
Me too.
For like
Yeah.
consequences of actions in this universe. You know what I
too.
mean? That's really cool.
Part of it is the idea of the Independence Day, the people who were on top of the building welcoming the aliens. The hippie girl
Yes.
from Saved by the Bell, the college years,
Right.
was up there, and then it got all blowed up.
No, I like that too.
That's great. Here's my take on it though.
Yes.
Because I thought you were going to go into yours, so I just wanted to say this real quick.
Oh no, I think that we should do yours next.
Oh, okay. Because I like yours.
Thank you.
I would watch it. Here's the problem. So the subjective take on this is I like that, and I would watch
Yes.
it. My objective take is it still has the same problem that Godzilla movies have, which is incorporating, plot, interesting or not.
Yep.
Yours is interesting.
That is disparate.
That is, yes, it is. It's disparate, and it's just too separated from the
actual
Godzilla
monsters.
thing. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of people would walk out of there going, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Well,
that
those
sucks.
are the racists that we don't like.
Right.
They're the ones who are like, "Oh, we weren't portrayed well."
That's fair.
I guess I wanted the religious aspect of people worshiping this giant creature.
Yeah, I like that.
Which would absolutely happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the idea, let's play with the science of somehow radiation being dirtier than other radiation, and it turns him evil. That's ridiculous. And
I like that.
That's still fun. That's like I think it's been, and I think audiences would go for it because it's been established with things like, different colors of kryptonite for Superman.
Right.
And like you can tell because, his eyes blast out different colors and stuff like that,
And then the tungsten is from the Expanse books and TV. I don't know if it happened on the TV show, but basically, the Belters dropped these tungsten, effectively bombs on Earth and wiped out Earth.
Right.
And
Spoiler.
it's book 6 of 10, 9. So the idea of it happening and, less tungsten, there'd still be crazy fallout, but you can't drop it in the water because that would create tsunamis everywhere. And so it's a matter of, and, the idea of like, well, he's in this 40-mile patch of DMZ and we're going to hit him from a plane without being able to adjust it.
That's right.
And so the idea is it started with, like some snakes don't have ears, but they sense vibrations in the ground.
Right.
And so it's the idea of causing a vibration big enough to frighten Godzilla away. And then, it changed to what it was.
Right. I like it.
I dig it. Yeah.
I think that's a smart take. See, that's where we should start. Is the smart take.
That's why I wanted to go first.
Yes. And then, so Ray, what did you bring to the table tonight?
2 things. One I have written here. The other thing I have written in my office at my house.
Yes,
so let
right.
me try and remember. I watched this movie.
Yes.
I already saw Godzilla versus King Kong.
Oh, you actually watched the new one?
And I have some spoilers.
Oh,
so can we put a spoiler alert right here?
Okay, well, let me tell people, if you actually don't want this to be spoiled, don't worry, because these are completely fake spoilers. I just want to put that out there. That way no one turns it off.
I mean, it just sort of just took
I know, but
all
people will turn it off.
sucked the air
People
out
will
of
turn it off. People listen to the podcast.
Well, I'm glad I didn't bring the written part then, because that's the part I don't,
People will not listen.
Now it's just stupid, silly jokes.
No, it's not. People will turn it off.
I thought the sex scene was gratuitous.
First of all, there's never been such a thing as a gratuitous sex.
Did you need some Godzilla sound effects at all?
That's for my other part.
Okay.
That's for my other part. That I have written down.
Okay.
And I'll let you know.
Yeah, please do.
I'll point at you.
Yes. Yes.
So another spoiler here. I did think it was strange that at the end of the movie, they come together and they learn to have like a mutual respect for each other, even though they're bickering. But then at in the post-credit scene, they establish that in the next movie they have to fight Jason Statham.
Oh, okay.
The idea of describing them fighting as bickering is very funny. That's funny.
I'm trying to remember these desperately. Oh my God, I'm so upset now. I'm so upset. Oh no, I forgot like all of my fun little goofs. I wrote them down earlier, and I left the piece of paper at my house.
I know.
And I didn't turn around to get it, but that's okay.
That's okay.
So that bit fell apart.
No,
I'm so upset.
I'm
going to get home. I'm going to call you, and I'm going to read you all. You go, no, you have to hear them. I prepared for this. God damn it.
Yes.
Godzilla.
Damn it.
Oh man. Oh, I'm desperately trying to remember. I don't remember them. Okay.
You had voice ones.
So I misread our homework assignment here.
Right.
Where we fix it, because I am firmly of the belief that you just can't fix a Godzilla movie because of the issue that we already talked about. Big giant monster doesn't talk, doesn't do anything, it doesn't have any established relationships. We want to see the destruction, but it's a minimum 90-minute, maybe 80-minute movie that you have to have a plot in, and anything else is going to be like, I didn't come here to see this. You know what I mean? So that's the issue. So I have some fixes here.
Do you want some Godzilla sounds?
Yeah, so I'm going to read you the log line of these movies. I have a few different movies. I'm just going to throw them out there. This is like Brad, your pitch was like you were brought into the meeting, you had your pitch, right, and you were ready to go, and like the three of us are there pitching these ideas together,
right,
and they went, not bad,
right,
not bad. What else you got?
What else you got? Yeah,
I have the back pocket pitch.
Oh, good.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
goodness.
So hold on, I have a few Godzilla roars. I want to know which one you like the most.
All right, tell me.
My phone just did a thing. Okay, you ready? Here are the options. That's one.
Nope. That one. Don't even play anymore.
Yeah.
Don't even play anymore. Oh, no, too much.
It's too long. Let me see.
That's okay. Turn your phone down.
Man, they're all long. Why are they so long? I want an old one.
Yeah.
I want like the original Godzilla. This is like the new Godzilla. Darn.
Put them in post.
Yeah, put them
Edit all this out and put it in post.
Yeah. Okay.
The only other spoiler I want to give is that I thought it was really wild.
Yeah.
That they somehow made it so King Kong and Godzilla all exist in the Now You See Me universe, which is really weird.
Yeah.
So,
That's funny.
It was nice to see Ruffalo doing more work.
Yeah, it was nice. It was very nice. Morgan Freeman, I don't know what he was doing in it. And the last spoiler that I have to say, the thing I didn't like about the movie.
Yeah.
The thing I didn't like about the movie is I really didn't like that they had them talk in this movie.
Huh, that's weird.
And they were voiced. Godzilla was voiced by Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh.
And King Kong was voiced by Andy Dick.
Yeah, weird.
Oh, speaking of, I thought it was weird how many like shaky cam close-up shots they had of their dongs. I thought that was weird.
I don't think that's so weird.
There should be in a Godzilla movie or a King Kong movie, Godzilla, where somebody's just like in a penthouse. And Godzilla goes by and goes over the building.
Yep.
And then Godzilla's hanging dick just smashes through the penthouse.
Yeah, and they're like, ah!
Some destruction. I want to see that.
Nice.
All right, so here we go. You ready? I'm going to give you the log line to my movies.
Right.
And then I will tell you the title. So you get the log line first and then the title.
Yes.
Right? So like a preview would.
Yes.
And then after I do the title, I'm going to point to you. You're going to do some roaring. We're going to sell this, okay? This is
our audience of execs.
Yeah.
Good.
See, that's perfect. Yeah. That's the zazz that's going to sell these movies to the TV it is TV execs. It's not movie execs. We're
going to direct to Discovery Channel.
Yeah, we're doing, and it's weird. Yeah. And there's somebody from TLC there. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
When Godzilla arrives in Tokyo, he's met with another monster set on destruction. Unable to take the beast alone, Godzilla must call on a team of expert drivers to bring the only thing this new threat wasn't prepared for: family. Fast and Furious 10, Tokyo Drift 2.
Sounds good, but can we get Vin on board?
Oh, Vin would absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Only if we change his name to Vinzilla. That's in his contract.
He gets more lines than Godzilla.
Or Vin Kong, whichever one you want.
Yeah. Oh, I want to see Dominic Toretto driving a muscle car up the spine of Godzilla.
Oh, yeah.
Like a long...
Oh, my God.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
See, don't you kind of think that for real, no jokes, isn't that kind of the way they should go with Godzilla movies?
They have to go consciously aware.
Yes. Over the top.
Fun over the top movie. Yeah. Like a Hobbs and Shaw versus Godzilla and King Kong.
Yes. Hobbs and Shaw versus Godzilla and King Kong. And who knows, maybe Freddy and Jason.
The Rock
throw them all in there.
rock bottomed King Kong. I just gave him the people's elbow.
So, oh, that would be so great. Oh, there would be a moment where like they can bond and like a thing happens and King Kong like joins with them to face Godzilla. Yep. And it's because like right when shit was about to go south, the Rock gets up on the rooftop and like gets a projector to blast himself up on a screen, and he does a haka and gets like King Kong into it. You know what I mean? And that's how they communicate.
And then King Kong looks back at him and raises one eyebrow.
Yes, and he's like, "Oh man,
yeah, we get it."
All right, and then Stone Cold shows up. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
He does a stunner. You know, Godzilla cracks a beer. I don't watch wrestling. Okay, are you ready?
No, that's what happened.
So, if for people that aren't into action, right, let's bring a little more emotion into this.
Good thinking.
After decades of destruction, Godzilla takes some time for Godzilla in laid-back Jamaica. But when the kaiju begins an island fling with Taye Diggs, it'll take more than a nuclear blast to clear the debris of middle age. How Godzilla got his groove back. Right?
As soon as
That's
Taye
good.
Diggs,
That's
I knew what
solid.
was coming.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
And we have to get Taye Diggs.
Oh, yeah, of course.
If Taye Diggs won't sign on to the picture, we're not making the picture.
Right, no.
No. All right.
The episode.
Here's the next movie. See if the execs like this. An aging Godzilla must transfer control of his destructive dynasty to his reluctant son in what is considered one of the greatest American dramas of all time, Godzilla Father. And see, in the pitch, we say it's considered one of the greatest American dramas of all time.
Right, there you go.
They have to go for it.
What kind of animal's head shows up in whose bed?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Ooh, Jesus.
Godzilla doesn't have a bed, so
It's Ghidorah.
Yes.
Abe Vigoda's still in it.
Yes.
By the way,
I'm on board for that. Yeah.
just picture Abe Vigoda in a Godzilla movie.
Oh, man, that's funny.
All right. Let's do one for everybody here, okay?
Please.
A little bit for the boys, a little bit for the girls.
Good.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. When Godzilla begins an intense and anonymous online relationship, only to find out the enchanting woman he's been romancing is his longtime rival, Mothra, these two monsters may be at odds in life, but they're in love online in this charming romantic comedy. Kaiju've Got Mail.
Oh,
That's fun.
I like what you guys are saying, but could we name it "You've Godzilla Mail"?
Ooh. How about Kaiju Godzilla Mail?
Yes.
Too many puns. Too many puns. Oh no! One of the execs
pun per
walked
pun.
out of the room, and he said, "I did not create young Sheldon to be mocked like this." So this one I'm not happy with.
Okay.
but I'm going to keep it in.
That's fine.
A weather disaster sends Godzilla to a magical land he could only dream of. Armed with massive strength, razor-sharp teeth, devastating blue atomic breath, and a pair of ruby slippers, Godzilla must travel a golden path home. Our monster must escape an evil force and find friendship in unexpected places. The Lizard of Oz.
That's great.
I'm not happy with that one because
like The Lizard of
it's
Oz.
just so pun-based.
That's fun. I like that.
Okay, I only have a couple more. This one, I think we're gonna sell this one.
Okay.
Okay. Given everything going on, I think people would like this one. All right, here we go. Think more like the trailers make it look rated R, but it's actually PG-13.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, think something like that. It feels good to be bad. A secret government agency recruits Godzilla along with some of the deadliest incarcerated supervillains to form a defensive task force. Their second mission, save the world. Their first mission, learn to get along. Suicide Squadzilla. I just really like writing terrible cliche log lines. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I have two more.
Yep.
They're a bit of a stretch.
Well, everything else has been so grounded.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here we go. This is a completely original concept.
I'm going back to the cookout at Dominic Toretto's house.
Hell yeah.
And you're going around and,
Hell yeah.
and then you look up and it's calm.
No, they're on the roof.
Yeah.
They're on a roof.
Okay.
And so Godzilla is like
It's
the
like-
right height.
Oh, yeah, it's the right height.
And,
And
they're throwing burgers at him.
Oh, yeah.
They
that's fun.
and then
the whole cow.
and then there's like there's a fun moment where The Rock lifts up a whole keg of Corona and then throws it into Godzilla's mouth.
Maybe there's a joke about like, Tyrese is like to Ludacris. He's like, I'm going to throw you in there. He'll think you're a burger. And Ludacris is like, I'm not short. So, like,
Yeah.
some little thing like that.
That was such
What
a good.
do you do?
That was
What
a
do you
great
even do
Ludacris.
for the crew? What do you even do? This guy fucks everybody up.
Yeah.
If he starts to hack, you're out of the job.
Yep.
You know.
I like it.
And then we can finally get Godzilla going through the city, and you can have Luda singing "Move, Bitch, Get Out of the Way." So good,
That
so
would
good.
be cool.
All right, okay. This one is a wholly original concept.
Good.
A former assassin known only as the Bride wakes from a 4-year coma after her jealous ex-lover Godzilla attempted to murder her on her wedding day. Now she's back with an insatiable desire for revenge on the kaiju and anyone who stands in her way. Godzilla.
The best thing about that was the bait and switch of what fun you're going to use. Godzilla. It's funny.
That's fun. And then this is the last one. Think fun, playful movie. Like your weirdly conservative mom really likes this movie and you're surprised by that.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. And it's like 90s, real 90s feel, right? Like the trailer has a narrator.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. 3 elite Manhattan drag queens and Godzilla win a drag queen pageant and an invitation to the Nationals in Hollywood. Now Vita, Noxzema, Chi-Chi, and Godzilla must travel cross-country in this madcap adventure to make it to Hollywood and find themselves. To Kaiju, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. And I really struggled with the idea of switching drag queen pageant to dragon queen pageant. But I thought that was too much.
I liked it. That
you know,
was great.
one of the characters can make that joke, though.
Oh,
Yes,
sure.
right,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah. And so those are my pitches that I thought this was what we were doing.
No, I like that. Was great. It was perfect because we're all bringing different stuff to the table. That's fun.
Yeah.
And I will say, so it's time for my pitch.
Which of those would you want to see the most?
The Fast and Furious one.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I
easily.
think that's the right one.
I think that's the one that's
the
be
direction
closest
that they-
to the real thing.
Yeah, they need to go in that fun direction.
I
They
wonder-
need to be self-aware. That's the
Yeah.
only thing. Honestly, that's the only thing that has saved action movies.
I know.
In the past, 5, maybe 10 years?
Yeah, I know.
Being self-aware.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. So I'm a little nervous about delivering my pitch because Ray.
Because you just wrote it?
No, because sometimes you don't like my fun pitches. Like I've talked to Ray about a concept I've had for years called.
Yeah, but you were talking about doing the white entertainment television network, and I was like, I don't like your fun idea.
No, not true. All goof. No, it's actually. What are you doing, Brad?
My SD card popped out of my tablet.
Oh, I see.
That's all.
Is that a euphemism?
Nope.
No, I came up with this concept for a movie called Zombie Zoo that I've loved for so
that's right.
long.
Yeah.
And Ray hated Zombie Zoo. And the idea was basically well, how do you make a new zombie movie? Well, what if people were trapped in a zoo and all the animals were zombies?
To be fair, when you pitched that, it was at the end of a tumultuous little trip that we went on, right?
Yeah.
So let's say spirits were low, tensions were high, right?
Sure.
And the moment happened kind of unexpectedly.
Yes.
And as you started the pitch, you phrased it as if it were like a totally genuine, like horror, no comedy kind of thing. And it is a self-aware kind of jokey
very
thing.
much.
And so I was just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I know.
And I mean, we had spent days together and
yeah.
it wasn't good. We got off to a bad start and it didn't get any better. We had hours of conversation afterwards just to come back from it.
Yes, and you know what? We actually did come up with a good pitch during that we still haven't talked about again, really.
Oh, I don't remember it.
Oh, it was Scare B&B.
Oh, Scare B&B.
And
No, that was
do you
great.
remember the sculpture garden?
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
Scare
Anyway.
B&B is fantastic.
Oh, Scare B&B is great.
Listener, it's a horror movie where, like a nice couple or a group of people.
Yeah.
It was a group because you got to have multiple killings. It's basically a slasher flick with like a whole party of people celebrating an anniversary or a wedding coming up or something like that.
Yes.
And oh no, there's a killer in the house that they rented.
And the person
With some twists.
the person kind of maybe you find out that maybe they designed the house so they could just do this to
Right,
people
right.
that rent it from them.
Yeah.
But Zombie Zoo is in my heart, and it's just this is a little silly. That's all I'm saying. This is a little silly.
Okay, all right.
And I want Brad to read it.
Oh, good. I wondered why you shared the file with me just now.
Oh,
And
okay.
at some point, it's going to get to a part that says Chuck takes over.
Okay.
And that's where I'm going to take it over.
That's just you guys' relationship, right?
Anyway,
I'll say this: Brad doesn't get a ton in before it says Chuck takes over.
Oh, I know. He has a
in
little
our
card.
relationship.
He has a little laminated card that says Chuck takes over.
throw it.
And in any given situation or whatever you guys are doing, multiple times a day, he just presents the card
So-
as if he were like a ref, like a soccer ref.
So the thing is,
holds it up.
I came up with a couple concepts, and they all came together to me, like we talked about at the beginning of the podcast, about an hour before we were supposed to record. So I came up with all this in that past hour.
So that's when you came up with it.
That's
an hour before we were supposed to record.
No.
You wrote it.
I had three.
An hour after we were supposed to record.
So I had 3 dangling ideas, and they kind of came together an hour before we
You
recorded.
had one of those removed, right?
Yeah, right. And now this is them all together. And Brad's part is pretty well organized, but then when it gets to my part, I kind of have to piece things together because it's not perfectly laid out. And I'll say this: the beginning,
gets racist.
the beginning, like paragraph, it kind of just summarizes what actually happened in the 3 movies before this, because this movie is also called Godzilla versus King Kong. So there are 3 previous movies in real life.
Yeah.
Godzilla, Godzilla King of the Monsters, and King Kong. Kong Skull Island is what it's called.
You say Kong weird.
Kong?
You say Kong.
And so the beginning of this is kind of summarizing those for viewers who haven't seen those other movies, so they can get right into this movie.
Do you really need a background
Chuck
on
Staton's
those?
Godzilla versus King Kong.
Can we be honest though? Do you need background on those 3 movies?
For my silly script, you do.
So Godzilla he shows up. He comes out of the water.
Yes.
Fucks stuff up.
Yes.
Then he goes away. But then he comes back again and fucks stuff up.
Yeah, I know.
Then get this. In the jungle,
Kong.
King Kong is there.
Yeah.
And does some shit, and then they bring him out of there.
Yes.
And then, oh no.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Yes, right. All right, ready, Brad? This is my Godzilla versus King Kong script.
We open on a TV. A news report starts. The news reporter says, "It's been 7 years since the world has been forced to accept that monsters live among us. In 2014, the apex predator known as Godzilla was awakened. The world dealt with destruction and devastation as Godzilla ultimately destroyed 2 other gigantic monsters known only as Titans."
So that's the first Godzilla movie.
Okay. I got to say, so far, I think you're ripping Brad off.
Okay. Okay, so that's
It
fair.
opens with news.
I suspect it will diverge.
I know. I'm just
In 2017, MIA Lieutenant Hank Marlowe, thought to be dead for decades, suddenly reemerged. He wrote a book detailing the horrors of gigantic monsters ruling a hellish island in the South Pacific. His book, The Countdown Has Begun, has half the scientific community laughing and half paralyzed with fear of his warnings. Finally, in 2019, multiple new titans, including Rodan, a pterodactyl-like creature, Ghidorah, a 3-headed dragon-like creature, and Mothra. You don't have a description for Mothra. It's a giant moth.
It's a giant
All
moth.
revealed themselves for the first time. Godzilla came back to the United States, this time seemingly to fight the other titans. After a showdown in Fenway Park, seriously, that happened.
Oh, I'm so sorry to interrupt.
all
I'm so sorry. I remembered one of my spoilers. Okay, so spoiler alert. You have that big siren that plays, right? Spoiler alert. I remembered this when you said Mothra. I thought it was weird in King Kong versus Godzilla when Godzilla is like, he's got King Kong on the ground and he's like beating the shit out of him. And then King Kong says, "You have to save Mothra." And then Godzilla's like, "Why did you say that name? Why did you say that name?"
That's really good. That's very funny. That's really
Fantastic. A showdown in Fenway Park, seriously, that happened where Godzilla teamed up with
good.
humans.
Start that sentence again.
All right, okay. After
Start the whole thing over.
Godzilla came back to the United States, this time seemingly to fight the other Titans. After a showdown
This is still the news report where the woman is kind of recapping what happened.
Sure.
Keep going.
After a showdown in Fenway Park, seriously, that happened, where Godzilla teamed up with humans, not joking, that's what happened at Fenway, Godzilla defeated Ghidorah and the other Titans bowed to him. Seriously, I think that time Mothra even saved Godzilla with love. Not a joke, this is the news.
That really happened in the last Godzilla movie. Godzilla died and Mothra's love saved Godzilla.
That's really weird.
It's-
I'm glad I didn't see it. Another spoiler I remembered. Thought it was weird that at the end of the movie of Godzilla versus King Kong, Paul Bunyan showed up
Oh, wow, that is weird.
and didn't want to fight, but just wanted to ride each of them.
That's funny.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a funny idea. I like that.
Yeah, you need a human. You need a giant human.
2 years have gone by, and we wait to see the next step for these Titans. After Marlowe's book, The Countdown Has Begun, correctly predicted the appearance of this monster showdown in 2019, and soon after the coronavirus epidemic, as multiple modern legends have been given new credibility through his book, we have to wonder if his third and final prediction, the Battle of the Gods, will come to pass. Seth Rogen.
Oh, no. This is the turn, right?
Plays Seth Hogan,
Oh, no.
the best scientist at NASA. He's recently unemployed. He was fired because he was a goofball stoner pothead, just like Seth Rogen in every movie. We, the audience, don't care. We can't get enough of this guy.
Right, that's fair.
Yeah.
Seth,
Other spoiler alert. They're all coming back. I'm so sorry. Other spoiler alert that I remember. I thought it was kind of weird in the movie. Am I totally exhausting the goodwill on this? Yeah, a little bit. Chuck just did the hand kind of teetering thing, like, so. I thought it was weird in the movie that the head military guy, he was just so insistent and wouldn't let it drop the idea of like, we have to aim for the butthole. And I thought that was really weird.
No, that's where Godzilla's vulnerable.
Yeah. The pink. Go for the pink.
Seth Rogen / Hogan wakes up in his shitty apartment. He slips on a paper on the floor. His landlord snuck it under the door when he was sleeping. He's being evicted. This guy's got no money from being unemployed and all. He goes over to check on his computer. There's a comedic beat when he checks his OnlyFans account. He only has one follower. He sighs in sadness. As he goes to type a new address in his browser's address bar, we notice the follower looks a lot like James Franco. Can you say Easter egg? The bunny's coming, baby! Anyway, he goes to his email. Gmail, of course. Who still uses Hotmail? Not me. Gmail for real email. Proton Mail for porn. Do you know about Proton Mail? It's so we can all be sickos and never be traced. Proton Mail is the way to go.
It's a new thing. Brad just signed up.
Anyway, we just see his Gmail account.
Okay.
Proton Mail can't be traced, and like you can't, like if you lose the password, you can never get into it again.
Okay.
He has a newer email from a Dr. Timothy James. The email reads, Dr. Hogan, my name is Dr. Timothy James. I'm a paleontologist. I saw your essay on the book The Countdown Has Begun and your concerns that the U.S. government needs to take these warnings seriously. I completely agree with your theory. I believe the messages behind many of the books you cited, including Bone Wars, God Creates Dinosaurs, and Master of Monsters. A war is coming, and it's a war we cannot control. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of lives will be lost. However, I believe we can guide the fight. I need you to help me. We hear Seth Hogan's inner monologue reading this final line, and I can pay you anything you request. Meet me at the Starbucks near your apartment. Order me a venti cold brew with whole milk and 2 Splendas. 2 Splenda? Splendas? What's the plural of a Splenda? Never mind, no time. Big montage of Seth Hogan getting all doctored up. He's talking to himself, saying, I need this job, I have to look professional, etc., etc. He smokes a big joint and all the stoners laugh. I don't get it, it's not funny. People smoke weed, who cares? But anyway, the test audiences liked it. We cut to Starbucks, a table with 2 coffees. Seth Hogan is nervous. He's texting with someone. We see a quick glimpse and the contact picture looks suspiciously like Jonah Hill. You better call your 6-year-old nephew because this movie is an Easter egg hunt, baby.
I like in your mind that 6-year-olds
do Easter eggs hunt? No.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I took that as like 6-year-olds,
like Jonah
people,
Hill,
like young people would be into Jonah Hill, Seth Rogen.
No, that
James
was the
Franco,
Easter egg.
where it's like, oh no, actually that's for like, late 30s people.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. The Zennials aren't interested.
Yes.
Hello. Seth looks up and sees Dr. Timothy James, played by none other than Ryan Reynolds. He's not super funny in this, mostly serious and creepy. Gives the whole thing a creepy tone because we're all like, come on, man, be Deadpool. But nope, he's pretty serious. Timothy James introduces his assistant, who he refers to as Frank. It's Joe Keery from Stranger Things. He was Steve Harrington.
Remember that guy?
I do, yeah.
In this, he doesn't have cool hair. He's very meek and quiet. Timothy James, this is my assistant, a doctor in his own right at the age of 21? 22 as of last week. Right. Seth Hogan says, happy birthday. Frank kind of smiles and his eyes widen, as if no one has ever wished him a happy birthday. Mm-hmm. Oh boy. Timothy, listen, Seth, we all know more monsters are coming, and we know you have the know-how on how to communicate with them. Seth, no, I can't communicate with them. Seth Rogen laugh. I can't do it.
There you go. That's pretty good.
I was on the team trying to communicate with Godzilla in 2019. It can't be done, but I want to help. I want to save these monsters. They're going to kill people, and they're going to be killed. Timothy, of course. We all want to protect them, but you can't communicate with them? Your paper... Seth, listen, I can't. Tim, I can give you any amount of money you want. Any amount. Seth, how? Timothy, I got a big inheritance. Can you communicate with them for $100,000? Seth, who really wants this money. Okay, you can't communicate with them, but you can repel them and compel them. You can sort of lead them. Did you ever play Red Dead Redemption? Timothy, it's my favorite video game. Seth, well, did you ever herd the sheep? Timothy, it was necessary to secure Bonnie McFarlane's ranch. Of course I led the horses. It should be sheep.
I guess so. Yeah, you're right.
Seth, well, remember when you had to sort of run back and forth behind them, yelling at them from different directions? Frank, yes. He butted in to say that. Seth, that's what we have the power to do with these monsters. We can call to them, pull them in like a beacon, or we can push them away. Seth Hogan grabs 2 magnets off a nearby fridge. One is a Chuck and Brad podcast magnet. The other's like, I don't know, like a Garfield one or something. Seth, like 2 magnets with 2 like poles. Seth puts one magnet on the table and holds the other near it. The first magnet moves away. We can repel them. The camera pushes in on Dr. Timothy, James, and Frank. They smile at the magnets and look at each other knowingly. Suddenly, we cut to Madison Square Garden. A basketball game is happening. Whatever team plays there is currently playing. It's the Knicks. They are so great. We love them. They aren't, and we don't.
If this turns into a Space Jam movie.
Oh, man.
Announcer, we are so happy to welcome back everybody after the past year of coronavirus stuff. It really sucked. We hated it. But now we're so happy to have everyone back since the entire country and world is vaccinated, except for the dicks who won't get the vaccine. The star player on the basketball team steals the ball from the other team. The clock is counting down. 5, 4, 3. The player dribbles and drabbles. 2. The player jumps. It's time for a big slam dunk like an NBA jam. Suddenly, as he reaches out to dunk and jam the ball, his eyes go wide. A shadow covers his body. With his arm already reached out, a gigantic alligator-like mouth snaps over his forearm. The audience gasps, screams, and gasps again. We show the basketball guy on the ground, bleeding and screaming. Maybe it's Shaq? Is he still a guy? No.
He's
anyway,
like, I was about to slam and or dunk it.
Anyway, we show the guy, then we pan up, and we see 5 raptor-sized baby Godzillas. Holy shit. Anyways, right now we basically see the exact same baby Godzilla scene that was in the 1998 Godzilla movie, but this time with 2021 graphics, so it's 7% cooler. It was already cool to begin with, so whatever. Maybe Matthew Broderick can do a little cameo, and maybe he does a line from Ferris Bueller. We'll
you wrote
see.
This while we were talking. I swear to God.
No, I didn't.
Did you know he killed
God.
a guy? Day off, indeed.
Oh. And it was a girl.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was a girl.
Jeez.
Anyway, a bunch of military dicks come in.
Makes it worse. Makes it worse.
A bunch of military dicks come in and kill all the baby Godzillas, but in terms of plot, it means one thing. Godzilla is back, and he's here, and he's in the U.S.
Does he...
That's 3 things!
Yeah.
Does anyone, like, say anything expositionally to be like, there's now baby ones?
No.
Or does it just happen and we're like, uh-oh.
It just happens. Oh, you're supposed to remember the 1981. And you're like, oh, this is a reference
and
to that.
it's in it. In
I like
if I remember, I saw a copy of this earlier, a rough draft. There's no CGI. It's all live action, real shit, and it's just old costumes from the dinosaurs, the TGIF.
That's all they
the
can
mama.
get.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that you're like, no, people are supposed to remember this from 1998, but you've recapped 2014 and 2019 for us. We cut to Cape Canaveral, NASA.
Oh man!
As Seth Hogan, Timothy James, and Frank are in the NASA lab. They snuck in because Seth Hogan still has friends that work there. We see the key card
The
of
lab would
another.
actually be in Houston.
Okay.
We see the key card of another employee who looks suspiciously like Danny McBride.
Oh no!
You get it. They're in the lab trying
Supposed to get all these goddamn vials and pour chemicals. That's bullshit.
That was pretty good.
Oh, thanks.
They're in the lab trying to sneak out 2 monstrous steel engines.
They look like big steel engines.
Yeah, I get like
like
jet turbines.
Thanks for clarifying.
like a,
He just said monstrous steel engines, and you went, they look like big steel engines.
yeah. Well, his hands were above his head, like he was a son. Like he was a son in a child's play.
Can you tell me more about these big steel engines? They look like big steel engines.
What do you guys think about the plot so far? Are you pretty sucked in? Ray, your face was trying to be so kind.
I would use part of the word suck. Yes.
I mean, considering you have, like, I guess a shot-for-shot remake of a section of another movie, and now you have
at the same time.
you have This Is the End, the cast of This Is the End in your movie.
No, just little glimpses. Well, we got
Michael
Seth
Cera
Hogan.
shows up. He's all fucked up.
We just got Seth Hogan.
Seth says, we need to get these out of here. These can both repel and compel the monsters, but we need both of them to guide the monsters. As they're sneaking out, we do a funny sneak out scene. Maybe there's a cameo from a sleeping guard that looks like Michael Cera.
I just said that.
Oh my God. Oh God.
Oh, they stop at a TV and they see the massacre at Madison Square Garden. Timothy James is enraged. They killed them? They killed them? Timothy freaks out and makes so much noise that all the NASA guards wake up. There's a big chase scene, but Seth and Timothy and Frank get out.
With the massive engines.
With
right?
the engines, yeah.
Suddenly, we cut to the Bronx Zoo. We see the ape cage. A few zookeepers are having a conversation in front of it. The camera's focused on the zookeepers. The apes are in the background playing and jumping. As they continue to talk, in the background, all the apes slowly stop playing and are looking up. After a minute, the zookeepers notice. They look at the apes. Their eyes pan up to what the apes are looking at. We slowly pan up and, you guessed it, it's King Kong. He's here. He puts his paw/hand down and helps all the apes out of the ape cage. They climb his arm and jump out of the cage. He looks curious and helpful, but people are screaming and running. He looks frightened. He doesn't mean to scare anyone. He's confused. Until we hear that famous Godzilla scream. Kong and Godzilla see each other and they fight. They destroy MTV's TRL studios. Make sure to check if that's still there. They kill a bunch of well-known New York people, places, and things.
Okay.
Woody Allen.
yeah.
Chuck takes over.
All right, so this is the first.
Oh, sure, I'm a monster. And then he gets crushed.
So 100% of that was perfectly scripted, but here's where it's kind of going to get a little bit.
How come you can't let King Kong have some baby Kongs?
Those kind of what that was his baby Kong moment.
But which leads me to my other question. Like, this is the second movie, quote unquote, with baby Zillas.
Yes.
Like, where are these baby Zillas? Did they do a thing of exposition in that movie where it's like it's self-replicating like Jurassic Park? You know what I mean?
I don't know if they did. I can't remember.
Life finds a way.
Like, was there two Godzillas or was it a one thing? I don't remember what they said about it in the first one.
I've only seen that scene multiple times when you showed it to me.
I kind of think in that first Godzilla movie, there might have been one Godzilla, and then they see the babies and they're like, oh my God, there's two. And another one shows up and they kill it immediately and it's still just one or something like that. I think it was something kind of cheap like that.
Weird.
I don't remember though.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. This is the first big scene. It's a big fight scene through New York. And this is kind of proving what everyone was scared of. They're going to start destroying people, hurting people, destroying buildings. All right. Timothy James says we need to get them out of the U.S. There's an island off the coast of Costa Rica that has no human beings on it. If they're going to kill each other...
Costa Rica.
if they're going to kill each other, they can do it there. No matter how much destruction they cause, no one will be hurt. Timothy James to Seth. Seth, you and Frank need to lead them there with your big NASA rays. I need to stop off somewhere. Seth says, where? Timothy, looking over his shoulder. Maine, where Ray's from. Oh my God. Seth and Frank have two helicopters. Maybe they have some fun dialogue. I'm still figuring this out. I wrote this in the last hour. They have to use the repelling rays from the two helicopters. And what they do is, from New York all the way to the coast, they fight through all the states. so you see the helicopters kind of like repelling them.
Can we get like an Indiana Jones dotted line adventure?
Exactly.
And then like
that's what it is. And it's two
map.
monsters fighting.
Yeah.
And we'll show them at all the different
one picks
landmarks.
up the Washington Monument and swings it at the other.
Yes,
and they're
exactly.
at the south of the border truck stop or whatever in South Carolina.
Yes. So they're fighting all across the country to Maine to the coast of Costa Rica. We cut to Maine, and it shows Timothy in Maine with a crew of guys, like a bunch of guys, like a ton of guys.
And one of the guys says, "Real Maine."
Yeah, I'm sorry. Real quick, if I had a map right now, could you point out where Costa Rica is in relation to?
Stop it! Stop it!
Or Maine for that matter.
By the way, it's nighttime in New York and it's daytime in Maine.
That's Nova Scotia.
So all the guys say to Timothy, who is leading this expedition, they go, "What do we do?" And he says, "Dig."
Ooh.
We cut back and they're fighting. Ray's face. They're fighting.
Wait, what, Mainers?
You're gonna find out.
Are they digging for clams?
They're fighting.
All right, bub. Yeah, let's
fighting.
get fucking digging then.
This
fucking guy came all the way up from fucking New York.
They get him into the water.
Do the digging on his fucking.
They get him in the water, and Seth and Frank are in these two helicopters, and they're leading him. They're leading him like John Marston. They're leading him through the water.
Like that's your only reference for herding. Your only reference for herding is Red Dead Redemption.
So Seth has a map of how to get to the island. They get them there and they get onto the island. Godzilla and Kong are on land. They're already fighting and they crash into this dilapidated building. and they fight further into the island.
That's a perfect transitional shot, by the way. You show the Indiana Jones map of the dotted line and them fighting.
Yeah.
And then you pan out and it's Seth holding the map.
Yes, exactly.
There we go.
So they fight into
This thing looks like it's moving.
They fight in this dilapidated building, and then they keep fighting onto the island. Seth walks, and he's following them now. He walks to the building, and he reaches down in the building. He holds up this huge banner, and he reads it, and it says, "When dinosaurs ruled the earth."
Oh no. Oh no.
Seth says, "What the?"
I didn't see the warning signs with Costa Rica.
Right. Listen. Don't spoil it for those who don't get it yet. Timothy arrives on the island with a bunch of ships and a bunch of guys that's helping him, you know? Seth, what the fuck is going on here? The monsters are fighting in the background.
They got from Maine to Costa Rica very quickly.
Really fast. He has these fast
Bunch
ships.
of Mainers out there.
Yeah. He says, "Don't worry, I own this island." Seth says, "What do you mean you own it?" Tim, "It was part of my inheritance." Seth, "Are we where I think we are? Tell me the truth." Tim, "Say it, Seth. Say it out loud." Seth, "The theme park massacre of 1993, the site of the first cloning disaster in Earth's history. We're there. We're here." Slowly pan up to Tim's face. Seth, "Welcome to Jurassic Park." What? What do you guys think? No. It's terrible. They're fighting. Tim watches the monsters fight from afar. Seth, "Who the fuck are you?" to Tim. Tim, "I go by Timothy James, but James is actually my middle name. I don't like the baggage that comes with my real name. Hammond. Tim Hammond." It's Tim from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Yep. Seth, "Holy fuck, you were there. You were in the original disaster. You want me to bring these monsters here to reopen Jurassic Park?" Tim, "Are you crazy? No, that experience taught me something. That which has gone extinct should stay gone. Nature made her choice. Dinosaurs are a thing of the past." Seth, "So why are we here?" Tim, "Seth, you know Frank." Seth, "Oh God, a second reveal. Okay, what's up with Frank?" Tim, "Frank is his last name, short for his birth name. My little German born boy, Franklin Frankenstein." Hold on.
Stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Remember when I said that thing about Space Jam?
I would love Space Jam.
I would prefer that. I would honestly prefer
Godzilla and
that.
King Kong against the monsters.
Big dramatic
I
pause.
didn't realize we were going to pull in every fucking franchise. Then Marty and Doc show
There's
up.
only one so far. Seth, why? Why do we need a Frankenstein?
There's only one. And Frankenstein.
Hold on. He's a historical figure. Tim.
Oh, man. You know, Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses S. Grant, and Frankenstein.
Tim. I wanted a relative of the best scientist of all times when it comes to bringing back the dead. We show a long shot of Seth, Tim, and Frank saying there as Godzilla and King Kong are murdering each other.
What did he dig up? What did he dig up?
Seth.
Is it? Is it the spider from It?
Seth, bringing back the dead. Is that what you want? You want them to kill each other? Tim, and then I want to bring them back, control them, put them on display. My grandfather, John Hammond, did it all wrong, but I'm going to do it right. Jurassic Park will be nothing compared to Zombie Zoo.
And ladies and gentlemen, the limpest dick of a prestige I've ever seen in my life.
Ships begin to enter the beach, and they just have these dump trucks full of dirt. One of the helpers says, "Where should we put this?" Tim, "Prepare graves, 2 of them." Seth, "You're bringing special dirt from Maine?"
Oh, it's from the fucking pet cemetery.
Tim, "The science of bringing living things back from the dead is not perfect, but we will perfect it." Frank, "Yes." Tim, "We're trying every angle. Frankenstein has his ways.
And every ankle.
Yeah, both of them.
And there's an old myth that there's a burial ground in Maine that can do it too. A cemetery. It's actually a pet cemetery. Seth Hogan's jaws drop.
At the end of this, he's going to rip a mask off and he's a Terminator.
Tim, shush, it's happening. We cut to Godzilla and King Kong bleeding. Godzilla's teeth have been knocked out. Kong's stomach is torn open. His intestines are hanging out. Tim, yes. Seth Hogan is devastated. He's been contributing to killing these monsters the entire time. He drops to his knees. The monsters are barely alive. And just like the end of Rocky 4, is that where they knock each other out?
Nope.
Rocky 2, the monsters deliver final death blows to each other at the same time. Kong and Godzilla both begin to fall directly into the open graves comprised of dirt from Pet Cemetery.
So in your math,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
In the logic of your film,
Yes.
they brought all this dirt from Pet Cemetery.
Yes.
A massive amount of dirt for this tiny, weird ritualistic
Right.
ground, burial ground.
Yes. Yeah.
And then they dug holes
Yes.
In that dirt.
In that dirt?
Yes.
So it's a pile of dirt
It's
on
a lot.
top of the dirt,
It's
and then they
ships and
dug a
ships of
hole
dirt.
into that.
They went so
So
far.
how did they fall? Because this would be
They made a big
mound.
pile. Yeah, they made a big pile that was big enough so that if Godzilla fell into it, they could cover him up with it.
But how did they get up to the top of this little mound? What you're describing is essentially like a shallow volcano. And,
Yes.
and in their death throes,
Yes.
they climbed the shallow volcano to fall in.
It's like imagine if I made a dirt pile behind Brad that was like as big as his whole body, and then I killed him and he fell in it, and then I covered him with the dirt.
That would be blissful.
Tim,
I like the idea of maybe then Seth Rogen leans in. He's like, you could have just put a spoonful in their mouths, a spoonful of the dirt in their mouth.
Tim, Seth, I'm sorry to have misled you, but some would say the carnage is over. Frank begins to Frank begins to prepare the
Rampage. Yeah.
Frank begins to prepare giant beds with big electric balls of energy, like Frankenstein and shit. The helper crews start burying them in the Kong and Godzilla in the pet cemetery dirt. A voodoo guy shows up and he puts his hand on Godzilla's chest and he starts doing the chant from Child's Play. Abadoo, Dumbala, give me the power, I beg of you. Seth looks at all this and looks back at Tim. Some would say the carnage has just begun. We cut to an aerial shot of Jurassic Park and Zombie Zoo beginning construction. Upsetting music plays and the credits roll. Post credits.
Booze from the audience.
Tim. Well, Seth, my people will give you a check. Thank you for your time. Seth Hogan, defeated, begins to walk away. All of a sudden, we see army people that help bring the dirt and start organizing. Code Red! Code Red! They scream.
Uh-oh.
We hear a guttural shriek.
What happened to the Mainers?
We hear a guttural shriek from an unseen animal. Seth, shocked, looks at Tim, and Tim throws him a rifle. Tim, don't look so surprised, Seth. We are in Jurassic Park. We hear a roar. Cuts to black.
Wow. That was
Thank you, Ray.
That's Chuck.
that was
clapping
original.
for
That's Ray
himself.
clapping.
What an original pitch.
What do you think?
brought
I felt
before.
bad for coming with a list of funnies. I don't feel bad anymore. Mine were on topic.
I think that was pretty good. You guys didn't see the Pet Cemetery twist. You
I
didn't
did
see
not. You know what? I did not see the Pet Cemetery twist.
I was
pretty
waiting
good.
for a Stephen King thing. And
In
I
Maine,
was thinking
You
like
did
a
say It.
monster or something. Like I
Yeah,
said, like
right.
Stephen King's It, like the spider monster
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't think of the Pet
See-
Cemetery. Here's why, though, because I didn't think like bringing all of that.
See, no one has had an open enough
Stroke.
mind to have thought, what if we moved all the dirt from Pet Cemetery somewhere else to bring animals back to life?
That's a lot of dirt, though.
Yeah.
is. That's
And
a
lot for
basically,
King Kong Godzilla.
this dirt had to be shipped
for 20 in a roughly like 40-minute period.
Yeah,
Right.
it's quick. It's quick.
Well, I mean,
they're fighting across the country.
Yeah, presumably the fight takes several days, but these ships have to be loaded.
Yeah,
and then use water to transport like a ship does
Oh no, it's all mud. They got here. It's all mud.
all the way. They're in their ships
Yeah.
full of dirt, floating,
yeah.
down to Costa Rica, and then they have to like take it all out. And there's like one guy, the one Mainer and a bunch of army guys, and he's
This
like
is fucking bullshit.
just a shovel
Yes,
into
right.
a wheelbarrow, and
Yes.
You got a fucking digger right over there.
then, yeah.
Yes.
I thought that would get a laugh.
So I see. My ideas were: could you try to capture them and put them in
These were
Jurassic
other
Park?
people's ideas.
Could you try to capture them and put them in Jurassic Park?
Right.
Could
right,
you try to maybe create Zombie Zoo
right?
and I put them together?
This is just a kid with a bunch of toys.
Yeah.
Like property, like McDonald's toys from the Happy Meal, and you put them all together, and you're like, oh, "This is a movie I'd watch."
I thought it was pretty good. You guys didn't know we were going to Maine for a little bit.
I did not.
No,
know
did
we
not
were
know.
going
No.
No.
Still,
He caught the
What
Costa
happened
Rica
with the
thing.
babies?
They got killed, and so Ryan Reynolds was upset because they killed them.
yeah, because he couldn't make zombies out of them.
Yes,
Yeah, that makes sense.
exactly.
That's
Yeah.
why he
About
was so
all
upset.
the other ones.
No, there was only 5.
I know, but it was just like, nah, there were babies for a minute.
That was the Godzilla 1998 scene where it was just fun.
Yeah.
We're having fun. That
Yeah.
was one of the fun monsters.
Yeah,
All
fun
right,
and
that's
games.
fair.
Okay.
So anyway, you got to think if you're having a zombie zoo, Godzilla and King Kong would be pretty crazy
I mean,
attractions.
I think if you have a zombie zoo, I think it's really its own attraction. I don't know that you need zombie Godzilla and zombie Kong.
I also don't know who's going to a zoo and being like, look at this dead animal.
I know.
Smells like
But I love the idea.
Get up by it. I'm gonna get a picture. Get up by it. Go. It smells so bad. Go.
I love the idea of zombie zoo being erected in place of Jurassic Park. That's fun.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
thank you.
Sure. It's
safer than having it in the U.S.
Yep. I'll say this. All right. So they can reanimate and control Godzilla and King Kong. They're comfortable with that technology, but the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park, the post-credit dinosaurs, are feral zombie dinosaurs.
No, they're not zombies yet. They're just still on Jurassic Park.
They got to clear them out.
But Godzilla is so huge.
Yes.
Right.
That couldn't you just ride your zombie Godzilla to defeat all the dinos?
Seems dangerous.
Yeah. Well,
I wouldn't do
any
that.
more dangerous than fighting a dinosaur with a rifle? If you're an unemployed NASA scientist who's probably
in all
high.
this loose dirt.
It's funny too because like
you can't get a footing.
I was writing this and I'm like, why is it NASA? Like, it has nothing to do with space at all.
Nope.
And the Chucky thing at the end was just a fun one.
Yeah.
That was just a fun.
I
thought it was going to be the guy that ripped the heart out in Indiana
Oh,
Jones.
yeah.
I was thinking Weekend at Bernie's too.
Oh, there you go.
Man. You know, that would make more sense. Right? You just hear some steel drum and then Bernie just walks by just shaking his
One shot. It's basically Ready Player One. Like all the cameos in Ready Player One, except
it's all in Chuck's twisted mind.
yes. That's probably part of the tagline, from the twisted mind of Chuck Staten.
Only it would go from the twisted mind of Chuck Staten. It's a picture of you waving. Hi.
Only one.
One hand, hold on. One hand like high up on your waist, and the other hand waving like dramatically. Hi, like an aunt going, "Hey guys, welcome."
Birthday hat.
You're at an old Chuck E. Cheese.
Only one
an old
man.
one. It's not open anymore.
I would love to write movies like this. And they did them from the twisted mind
How
of
about
Chuck Staten.
I like in your movie, like when they come up with Mechagodzilla, it's because a guy is sitting at a Chuck E. Cheese and sees the animatronic rat and he goes, "What is?"
And then immediately smash cuts.
One of
And
the
they're finishing it up.
Yeah.
One
One
of
of
you
the-
guys from Vermont have built it.
for this script, one of the discarded concepts was that
You discarded something?
Hold on. I have a couple of issues with that. Script, concept, and discarded. Those three words I have issues with.
I had a concept where looks like Mechagodzilla, but it's Godzilla in disguise.
Just wearing like
robot
like
outfit.
cardboard with like tinfoil on it.
Just a lot of aluminum foil.
A lot of aluminum
Yeah.
foil, yeah. But yeah, I thought that this was
That's it. Mr. Bean is going to do. He's going to make some
I think
cookies
that's
with
your hero
Godzilla.
in this
Yeah.
movie,
Oh,
is
definitely.
Mr. Bean.
Either that or a historical figure, Dr. Frankenstein.
I like
monster.
I like the idea of like a kooky, in all
And spooky.
In all seriousness, obviously I didn't
Altogether
go.
ooky.
I didn't go in the direction of like this is going to fix the story.
Right.
But this is a fun way to incorporate what do you put around the monster fights to make it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my pitch.
There are some things you know what?
Twisted mind.
There's waving.
Holding a pie.
Yeah. Hi. You have a shirt on that says Chuck Staten on it.
It's too short.
Hi.
What's that?
You know what? I want that on all the Adult Swim stuff instead of absolutely. I want you with hi.
My mind is twisted. I'll say
I'm twisted.
I'm so twisted.
I'm twisted.
Rob Zombie, eat your heart.
I'll say
jealous.
as I was
Twisted.
as I was thinking about
I'm
that.
a weird.
It's like I don't really get it.
I wear black in the summer. I'm a twisted motherfucker.
You just never know. I'll say, as I was thinking about concepts for my pitch, I was like, what if, like, and again, the idea of coming to the table with a nonsense idea, I'm like, what if we gave the Godzilla property to the Meet the Spartans guys and just got out of their way and let them do their magic? And I think I'd rather see that than Chuck Staten.
No way, you love this. You would love this one.
I think Brad hit the nail on the head though of this being like the Ready Player One version.
Yeah.
Yes, totally.
You know?
Yeah. Of course, it doesn't actually fit in with the chronology of Zombie Zoo because Zombie Zoo takes place on a peninsula.
that's right. And you cut it off of it.
You cut it off and shove it away so it becomes an island. Yes.
Yeah, so one of the plots of Zombie Zoo, I think it's 2, is that we get off the peninsula of Zombie Zoo and we cut it off from the mainland and push it out to sea.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Everything you say just brings me back to that image of you. I'm twisted. I took arms off a Barbie doll. I'm twisted that way. I'm just fucked up.
I put him back on, though.
Yeah, I put it back on.
For like, after I do more of the I'm twisted ones, like every movie is different. I'm like, sometimes they like catch me where I'm like, oh, and I take a lollipop out.
I'm twisted. Yeah, you're having McDonald's soft serve ice cream in a cone. Oh shit. One time somebody told me that my shoelace was untied. I looked at it and I didn't even tie it. I'm fucking twisted.
I like your impression of me where it's like you have a slight cold.
Yeah. And I'm not taking anything for it. I'm twisted. Sometimes I'll have to have cough medicine. I won't even put it in the little cup. I'll just drink what I think is the right amount. I'm fucking twisted. I really like the idea of this guy who does and this is a whole different character that I really enjoy. Do a movie about that guy. I like him. I like him. What's his job like? You know what I mean?
That's funny.
I'm twisted. You could have had so much more. Right? What if the guys from Night at the Roxbury show up?
I gotta say, you guys you're making this into a mockery, but there's only really
I'm not gonna have my art turned into a mockery.
You guys are twisted.
Yeah, you just don't get it. I'm twisted, but I will not have my words twisted.
You're treating it like I'm throwing in this and that. Everything in this makes perfect
You brought
sense.
in the Chucky Voodoo guy. You brought in the Chucky Voodoo guy.
Listen, here's what we got. We got, first of all, how does it not end in Jurassic Park if Tim is the main character? So that has to happen. And B, Zombie Zoo. That's all I got. And then the Chucky guy, that's like a fun, that's a little throw in.
So, wait, so you have Godzilla, King Kong,
Yeah.
Godzilla 98.
Yeah. Same as Godzilla.
Yep.
Uncle Sarah shows up for a minute.
Those are all references.
Those are references. I'm twisted. I'm fucked up.
It's the Rogan gang. That's fun. That's part of the fun.
I jumped in a pool with my shoes on one time. I'm fucking twisted.
All right. You have Ryan Reynolds playing a serious creepy character.
That's fair. He's just an actor.
Yeah, he's an actor.
Sure.
He'll do.
He's just an actor.
Rogan.
Rogan. That's fine.
Rogan. Yeah. Steve Harrington.
Yeah, playing Frankenstein.
Franklin
Frankenstein.
Sorry. What do we? And now he is.
I forgot Frankenstein too. I forgot him. Yeah.
He's 22 years old. Nobody's ever wished him a happy birthday before. What happens to that plot line?
I didn't want to tell you he was cloned.
Oh no. Oh no.
Is that like I didn't even pay it off. I just do it.
Jesus Christ. You're so thrilled by your own nonsense. I feel like you'd be reacting like this just reading this by yourself in this room alone.
I didn't even remotely pay it off, but it was so specific.
Oh my God. Like at this point, I'm not surprised that there's not like a post-credit scene where like the original Dave Thomas, who's dead now, shows up from Wendy's. And then Ronald McDonald is there with the Fry Guys.
Then the next sequel is fast food icons versus Godzilla versus Kong.
Versus Jared.
So,
Jared shows up.
Another sex criminal.
Hi.
That's funny.
Oh, now he's twisted.
Yes.
I can't get, that's my favorite thing from the whole night.
No, that's funny.
Is this character that's like, I'm twisted. I intentionally wear different colored socks. I'm twisted.
Chuck does that.
Yeah,
because he's twisted.
I think eventually the implications are that since Jurassic Park, Tim has kind of gone from should be clone stuff to let's just bring dead stuff back to life.
Yeah.
Let's do the right, safe thing here.
He's very against the cloning thing.
Yeah.
Dead
But yes, Frankenstein is a clone.
Is a clone, okay.
Yeah.
Of historical figure
Victor
Frankenstein.
And you said this is a YA novel series, right? We wanted to do Frankenstein, but sexy.
I mean, how does it go on the Bechdel test? Are there two named women?
I had a woman character, but I had to write it in an hour, so it was just too fast. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I know it was too fast.
That's like my South Korean pilot.
Well, here's what I feel like. I feel like if I wanted to write a female character, I wanted to give it some real thought.
Yeah.
And get maybe even a female's perspective on the script. Get some writers in here.
Yes.
But I didn't have the
I
time.
can help you with that. I think I can kind of divine what they would say, and they would go, "This is trash." This is right.
Twisted. See. Woo! And I'm going like an airplane running around the room.
Wow, that's you know what? I got to give it to him. That's fucking twisted.
Anyway, that's my pitch.
That's a great pitch.
Hollywood's a calling.
I think that truly there was entertainment to be had there.
Yes,
but it wasn't in the movie.
What I will say, you'll never take it away from me. The off the coast of Costa Rica went right over your head. Sure. This guy loved it. He knew it was coming.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
It's because I was too happy with myself for saying Costa Rica. But I think reviewers would have a field day with this.
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah.
I think maybe it would. It could save the theaters because none of the streaming places are going to do it.
Right.
I think this could really save.
I like the idea that the execs would, wait 3 days and then call us back and say, we've looked into this, Chuck. We can't afford all the rights. It's a great script. Yeah, it's a great script. We just the budget. It's just too much. If only we could afford the rights for Pet Sematary, Godzilla '98.
Yes,
the Seth Rogen universe.
Yeah, Seth Rogen and all his friends.
And
the Rogen verse,
and the voodoo guy from Chucky.
Yes, and Jurassic Park.
Yeah, and also Jurassic Park. Yeah, and Ryan Reynolds' salary. So
yes, right.
If you had to cut one thing, what would you cut? But and we decided it wouldn't work if you cut any of those.
And that chunk that you had about Captain Planet.
Yes.
They find these rings.
It's funny you mentioned the thing. It's really weird. You're going to think this is so weird. You're going to not believe me. We used to do WrestleMania predictions on the podcast.
Okay.
Years ago. And at first it was real ones. And then they slowly got to be like, Brad would actually say, here are the matches. Here's what I think is going to happen. Then it got to be me writing a whole thing.
Twisted.
And it was just like this.
So it was just
how about
like
this? Rock Bottom's King Kong and Stone Cold Stunn's Godzilla in one of my things.
Yep.
There you go.
So great minds.
I believe you also had intercourse.
Oh, yeah.
Numerous female wrestlers.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
That was a long time ago. Yeah. You've grown a lot.
That was 45 minutes ago, right? Yeah. Yeah, your movie did not pass the Bechdel test.
Well, no. That's not fair. If it had been fully scripted, it would. Because you're gonna change Seth Rogen to Rebel Wilson first, right off the bat, and Ryan Reynolds will be he's Ryan Reynolds. I don't know.
He's got to be
Ryan Reynolds. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, Who
gives a shit?
Well,
some broad will do it.
If it stays,
some fucking broad will do it.
If it stays as Tim, you'd have to change the character. You'd have to change the character to Lexi.
Yeah, Lexi. Yeah, that's too obvious.
Yeah. So
were you tricked by Timothy James? Did you know it was Tim?
You know what? I did not.
That's the sign of a good writer.
Is it?
Oh God!
If you're tricked,
that's the sign of a good writer that the reader would never expect you to do some real dumb twisted shit.
Yep.
If you do something completely out of left field that you could never expect, that's the sign of a good writer.
I remember reading a Sherlock Holmes novel that I was enjoying, and the sign of a good writer. I was reading this Sherlock Holmes. And the Guardians of the Galaxy showed up at the end of it, and I was like, "This is a page turner."
I remember watching Kramer versus Kramer the first time, and then there was that 45-second ending scene where it's like, "Oh, plus they were vampires the whole time," and I'm like, "Whoa,
did not see everything." Yeah, it warrants a rewatch.
Well, that was
that way,
That was very fun.
So here's my question then: with all of our funs and giggles, which one of those pitches are the execs going to pick?
I think Fast and Furious 10.
Can I be honest? I think it's that one too. I did it as a joke.
Yeah.
I think that's the one. I think that's the one I want to see the most.
Yeah.
It's tough because
I know which one that Chuck wants to see.
Do you ever think about the idea that like some characters don't translate as well to the way that movies have progressed for audiences. Like I think about the idea of the MonsterVerse, where the first one is The Mummy.
Yeah,
with
I think
Tom Cruise.
like Ghost Dad.
Yeah. No,
I think the character Ghost Dad.
Leonard number 6 hasn't aged well.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like,
that's a problem.
I think one of the reasons the MonsterVerse isn't going to work out is because, like, did you see the new Invisible Man movie?
Yes.
I thought that was
great. Yeah.
Because they completely 100% changed what it actually was.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I kind of think that it almost really would take that for Godzilla and King Kong.
Even that as a model, you can't look at the new Invisible Man movie and say, okay, then this is the model moving forward.
Exactly.
Like Iron Man being the model for the Marvel movies. You can't then say, well, this can be applied to Frankenstein or Dracula.
Each thing has to have its own evolution.
Yeah, because, none of those would work. And also the Invisible Man is like the only one of those properties that you can do as like a sci-fi thriller.
Yeah.
You can't do a sci-fi thriller about fucking, like, even Frankenstein, the next most grounded person, no pun intended about electricity being grounded, that's still so wildly outside.
Yes, right.
That it just doesn't, I don't see how that could be kind of modernized in that way and turn it the way they turned. I don't
Nanobots. I don't know.
See, what's interesting to me is like, I completely agree. I think it's almost like you have to take every character by itself, say, can we do this? Because I don't think the answer is yes for everybody. And then see if you can. An Invisible Man, let's say the answer is yes. I think Godzilla and King Kong, they're really tough to actually turn them into a movie where people were like, that was a good movie.
Well, those are, I mean, again,
I know.
Godzilla, King Kong is hard because King Kong is one story structure thing. Yeah. They find him, they bring him, it doesn't work out.
Right.
Done. And that has been redone so many times. It's I think it beats Spider-Man at this point for how many origin stories we get of that.
Yeah, right.
And once you're done with that, you're like, all right, so
I know. That's what's tough.
This time it's a different island.
That's tough. It's
wait,
really
no, we did
Canada.
that for Jurassic Park.
Let's do Canada.
It's tough.
Shit.
I do want to say, even
there's no, like I don't mean to be rude and interrupt your conversation, but you might want to run away because there's a giant ape.
I was gonna say,
I'm just here for a double. All right, that's it.
You're at Tim Hortons, eh?
Yes.
I was gonna say,
name another Canadian franchise.
IHOP.
No,
it's international.
It's
international.
I was gonna say, even though you guys might not think that I had a great script and I did a great job in my script, how about this? I needed to put things in the podcast earlier to make the script pay off, and that was pretty successful. And you guys didn't suspect anything.
Godzilla 98.
Godzilla 98.
And Zombie Zoo.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, it's great.
Sure. Yes.
So as a podcaster, A+, script writer, B+.
I was gonna say A. I was gonna say
B+.
I was gonna say A-.
I would say this for your pitch. Were this real, I don't think you would get through it because I think the little button under the desk would have been pressed very early on.
Here's my idea.
Is it Matt Lauer's desk?
For the pitch.
No, it's the opposite. Where the doors swing open.
For the pitch, here was my idea to take care of the same problems. I'd get hired as a janitor the week before. Mention Godzilla 98. Mention Zombie Zoo as a concept, and then come in with
Isn't
the actual
that
script.
guy that's the janitor? I'm twisted.
No, I'm not the janitor. He has a mustache, right?
How did you know?
I mean, he looks like
Your name's Chuck Staten, right? What's the janitor's name?
It's also Chuck Staten.
Stop shaking.
I was gonna say it's Carlos Staten.
Well, Ray,
doesn't he have like a real offensive, stereotypical voice?
Oh yes.
Yeah, I had to change the guys that helped him dig it. Ryan Reynolds dig in this. I really had to change the descriptions.
Oh no!
I'm just kidding. Don't look at me like that.
This was fun.
Yeah,
I like that all three of us had very different takes on what the assignment
disparate
was.
Ray just heard about the word disparate tonight.
I did not just hear about that word. That's insane.
You gave me a look when I said it. And then I had to explain it, and you're like, oh, yeah, of course.
No, you gave me a look after you said it, like expecting me not to know. And I kind of looked at you with like, whoa. Is there something on my face?
I didn't want him to feel bad, so I said, Brad didn't know.
What is it? I don't even know what's happening right now.
When I explained disparate to you, and you were like, yeah, I know. I said,
You didn't explain disparate to me.
well, I explained it. Then you were like, I know. And then I said, Brad didn't know. Remember? We shared a glance.
Okay, yeah.
So
This is weird.
I knew.
What a weird like yes and kind of trying to foist something on me in order to like one up and be like
no.
be
I'm saying
know?
Ray knew, and so I had to find out an alternate way to explain why I said it.
Okay, I don't know what's happening.
Yes, but maybe. You got what?
What?
You got something?
No, I'm just tired.
Okay.
I'm just looking at you.
Yes.
Well,
expectantly.
it works out because we're basically done.
We're done
with this.
Let's do
episode.
20 more minutes on I'm Twisted.
Okay.
That I can live with because my face hurt from laughing during that period of time.
Yes.
When this comes out, let me know.
Yes.
So I can listen to that part.
You're welcome.
On repeat.
Hey, you're welcome. I'm glad you were here for it. It was great to see you.
Part of it. I mean,
it was fun. It was fun
I'm
to.
glad you listened to it, Ray.
It was fun because I knew I would wow people with the script and like seeing your face.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. People.
It's like a glimpse into just pure ego. It's amazing.
I don't know if I'd say
And you know what? I
you
think, Brad,
wowed
you're a
us.
bit of pure id at the same time. I think the two of you make up an ego and id.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You balance the pH level in the room when the two of you are here is just right. Just right.
That's a
All
solid
beta fish can survive.
7, I think.
Right? Brad leaves the room. It's fucking acid in here. The only thing that can survive is Chuck, right? Because he eats all the little fish.
Chuck leaves the room. Base. I'm base.
You're basic.
Yes. I think I'm a 13. Ray, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I do appreciate it.
That was
Again,
fun.
this is the only time, other than the last time I was on the podcast, the only time I've been, face to face with friends since forever. So I appreciate this. If I do get sick, we know why.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And
I'm feeling terrible
the thought that it would be
for this
because I sat
worth
here and goofed about Godzilla for far too long.
You know, it'd be great if it was like Ray's funeral. You know, he died doing what he loved.
That would be great. Yeah, it would be great. Wouldn't it be great?
Making comedy with his friends. Chuck has provided us with the final audio clip of Ray's life.
It's just, I'm so fucking twisted. You edit it so it sounds like I'm just talking about myself. Right? You're like, wow, that's fucked up.
Your casket's being loaded. And is playing this over it.
Let's be fair. I am morbidly obese. The sound of the gears just whining as my casket gets lowered would drown out any boombox you bring. Just that forklift sound of like... Yeah.
I'll say this.
And that would be you doing that noise at the what? Come on, it's funny. I'm twisted. I made a joke at a funeral.
Brad elbows me and I'm like, come on. It's funny.
The camera pans away from Ray's gravesite and we see Dr. Tim James and Dr. Franklin Frankenstein. Like, we start here.
No. We are on a shot of the headstone, freshly buried grave. Fade to black, slow fade, music. All of a sudden, snap. Right, my fate. Right. I awaken on a slab.
Uh-oh.
And it's Tim Frankenstein standing over me.
Frankenstein.
Franklin Frankenstein.
They got married.
And Tim
James.
James.
Tim Hammond.
Yeah, Tim Hammond. Right. Michael Cera's still there for some reason. He's eating popcorn. Yeah. Shrugs his shoulders, right? And I look and I'm like, oh, shit. And that's it. But no, if I do die, play this part when we're talking about if I die.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
That'll be funny, yeah.
People can find Ray Harrington on socials.
Or at whatever cemetery.
We're going to bury you in a pet cemetery.
Ray Harrington, I mean, you just...
At Ray Harrington. Find him on Facebook, RayHarringtonComedy.com.
Yeah, RayHarringtonComedy.com.
Yeah.
There's funny things
Perfect.
there. And check out the web series that Chuck edited, and it's phenomenal. No Pet Cemetery references, unfortunately.
That was going to be episode 3.
There's some subtext.
Yeah.
There is. Back to the Future and E.T. are mentioned.
Yep.
There you go.
There you go. And that's independent and it's available. Is it still independentmovie.com?
Independentshow.com.
Independentshow.com.
Independentshow.com. It's all on YouTube. You can check it out
Stars
there.
Ray, directed by Ray, written by Ray. Well, you kind of
That's
you
true.
said
Yeah, that is
you
true.
did say you said there was a great thing. You said there's a great thing edited by Chuck. I was like, Ray's part of it too.
Oh, okay, yeah, I
You know what
appreciate that.
Yeah,
I
of course,
appreciate that.
Of course.
Yeah, like I won and that's the problem. Is like I won the best actor.
Oh, in London?
London Web Festival.
Yeah.
And it was like I wanted to like post it because I want to post about the show getting this awesome award.
But
The same way with
I don't
the
want
New
to tell
York
everyone
one.
I'm the best actor in London.
No, I truly
Chuck your ego.
No, truly, I don't want to say that stuff. I want to say the thing about the show.
Yeah.
And it was so weird when I was about to post that because I'm always very I want to share that stuff.
Yeah.
And the fucked up thing is like, if an actor gets something, they always say like, well, with such a great director,
Yeah,
or
of course.
the script was so great.
But you're the great
But I
director,
wrote-
and you're a great script.
I'm not a great
designer.
director. And I'm not a great script writer,
Right.
but I was serviceable for what we needed to do. But I was like, I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write here, especially when,
Edited by Chuck
when it
Staten.
co-stars another person I'm friends with.
Yeah,
you know
right.
what I mean? I'm like, also Derek's in it.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, folks out there, thank you all so much for listening. We appreciate it.
You truly do the Lord's work.
Yeah. We appreciate all our Chubies, all the people who are new, all the people who are just fans of Godzilla, and we're like,
Or
you
your
know what?
Kaijubies.
I'm going to listen to nice. I'm going to listen to a serious discussion of Godzilla versus King Kong. And now they're like, okay, when are they going to start talking about real things? This is as real as it gets, folks. But if you want to send us an email, you can do so, chuckandbrad@gmail.com, or find the email link through chuckandbradpodcast.com.
Yes, and I just want to apologize real quick. We did get a bunch of emails this week, and we just, they were kind of about other subjects, and we knew we had a full show, so we're going to take care of those emails next week. We'll talk about them definitely.
Ray, thanks for being here. Folks out there, thank you all so much for listening. We appreciate it. That's all I've got.
That's all I got.
Deuces.
Twisted.
It's perfect.
I forgot you say deuces.
Okay.
She's gonna be 10 more girls.